Hello there, and welcome back to Science to Fall Asleep. Tonight, we're traveling back to a world unlike anything you've ever seen. A world where the ground trembled beneath enormous footsteps, where giant ferns stretched toward warm prehistoric skies, and where creatures of every imaginable shape quietly lived their lives across forests, rivers, deserts, and ancient coastlines. For the next few hours, we'll gently wander through the incredible story of the dinosaurs. Not as a race against time or an action-filled adventure, but as a peaceful journey through deep history. Together, we'll discover how they first appeared, how they grew into some of the largest animals to ever walk the earth, how they cared for their young, how they hunted or grazed, and how the planet around them slowly changed over millions upon millions of years. Some of the facts you hear tonight may surprise you. Others may completely change the way you imagine dinosaurs. Many were covered in feathers instead of scales. Some were no larger than a pigeon, while others were longer than a basketball court. They lived through changing climates, shifting continents, volcanic eruptions, and countless generations before the first human would ever exist. As always, there's no need to stay awake for every detail. This isn't a test, and there's nothing you need to remember. Simply let the steady rhythm of science and storytelling carry you toward a peaceful night's sleep. So, dim the lights, settle into your favorite sleeping position, take one slow, comfortable breath, and allow your mind to drift back through time. Our story begins more than 230 million years ago, when the Earth looked almost nothing like the world we know today. More than 230 million years ago, the Earth was a remarkably different place. If you could somehow stand upon its surface, you would hardly recognize it. There were no grassy meadows swaying in the breeze, northwest flowering gardens filled with colorful blossoms, and certainly no familiar birds singing from the branches. Instead, vast landscapes stretched beneath a warm sky, covered with towering conifer trees, ancient ferns, horsetails, and strange plants whose descendants still survive today. The continents themselves were joined together into one enormous supercontinent called Pangaea. Imagine every continent we know today fitting together like pieces of an enormous puzzle. North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, Antarctica, and Australia were all connected into one giant landmass surrounded by a single vast ocean. Because so much land lay far from the cooling influence of the sea, many regions experienced long dry seasons. Great deserts stretched across the interior of Pangaea, while rivers carved winding paths through greener valleys where life flourished. The world felt both familiar and wonderfully alien at the same time. The climate was generally warmer than today. Polar ice caps did not exist as they do now, and forests reached into regions that are cold in the modern world. Rainfall came and went with changing seasons, shaping rivers, lakes, and floodplains where countless creatures gathered. Long before the first dinosaur appeared, Earth had already witnessed incredible chapters of life. Strange amphibians ruled wetlands, giant insects buzzed through ancient forests, and many unusual reptiles explored environments that no longer exist. Evolution was constantly experimenting, producing new forms while others quietly disappeared. Then, during the Triassic period, a small group of reptiles began following a different evolutionary path. At first, they were not especially large or impressive. Many could comfortably run on two legs, moving quickly through forests and open plains in search of food and safety. If you had been watching them without knowing the future, you probably would never have guessed that these modest animals would one day dominate the planet for more than 160 million years. Their early success came not from size, but from efficiency. Their legs rested directly beneath their bodies instead of extending outward like many reptiles living alongside them. This upright posture allowed them to walk and run with less effort, making long journeys easier across changing landscapes. Many early dinosaurs were surprisingly lightweight. Their bones were strong but relatively hollow in places, reducing weight while maintaining strength. Millions of years later, this same lightweight design would become one of the characteristics inherited by birds. Life during the Triassic was never easy. Competition existed everywhere. Crocodile-like reptiles hunted along rivers, massive amphibians waded beneath calm water, and predators constantly searched for their next meal. Every sunrise brought new opportunities, but also new dangers. Instead of becoming discouraged by these challenges, early dinosaurs slowly adapted. Generation after generation, tiny improvements accumulated. Some developed stronger jaws. Others became faster runners. Certain species evolved longer necks to reach higher vegetation, while others sharpened their senses to detect predators from farther away. Evolution rarely works in dramatic leaps. More often, it resembles a quiet story unfolding over millions of years, with countless small changes gradually creating extraordinary results. As centuries became millennia, and millennia became millions of years, dinosaurs spread into more environments. They explored forests, riverbanks, coastal plains, and open valleys. Every habitat offered new opportunities for survival. Not every dinosaur became gigantic. In fact, many remained relatively small throughout their history. Some weighed less than a modern turkey, darting between ancient plants with remarkable agility. Their small size often helped them hide from larger predators while allowing them to find food in places inaccessible to enormous animals. The image of every dinosaur being gigantic is one of the biggest misconceptions in popular culture. Nature has always favored diversity. Just as today's mammals range from tiny mice to enormous whales, dinosaurs also occupied nearly every size imaginable. Some specialized in eating insects hidden beneath bark. Others searched for seeds, fruits, and soft vegetation. Carnivorous species patiently stalked prey, while herbivores wandered peacefully across floodplains, spending much of each day feeding. Ancient rivers played an essential role in prehistoric ecosystems. During rainy seasons they overflowed, spreading nutrient-rich sediment across wide plains. Plants flourished after each flood, attracting large groups of herbivores. Wherever herbivores gathered, predators quietly followed. Although millions of years separate us from these events, many natural patterns remain surprisingly familiar. Even today, rivers support incredible biodiversity, providing water, food, and shelter for countless species. The nights of the Triassic must have been astonishingly beautiful. Without cities or artificial lights, the stars would have filled the sky from horizon to horizon. The Milky Way would have stretched overhead like a glowing river of light, just as it does in the darkest places on Earth today. Perhaps some early dinosaurs lifted their heads for reasons we can only imagine. They weren't admiring constellations or wondering about distant galaxies, but they lived beneath the very same universe that surrounds us tonight. Those ancient stars silently watched as entire species appeared, evolved, and eventually disappeared. The universe remained patient while Earth continued writing one remarkable chapter after another. And this was only the beginning of the age of dinosaurs. Over the millions of years that followed, they would diversify into forms so extraordinary that even modern science continues uncovering new surprises buried beneath layers of ancient rock. As millions of years quietly passed, the descendants of those early dinosaurs continued adapting to a world that never stood still. Rivers shifted their courses, mountains slowly rose from beneath the Earth's crust, and volcanic activity occasionally reshaped entire regions. The planet itself was alive, constantly changing, even if those changes unfolded so gradually that no single creature could ever notice them during its lifetime. Each generation inherited a world that looked almost identical to the one before it. Yet over immense stretches of time, those tiny differences accumulated into landscapes that would have seemed entirely new to distant ancestors. The forests became richer in many places. Tall conifer trees reached high into the warm air, while dense carpets of ferns covered the forest floor. Ancient cycads spread across sunny clearings, their thick trunks supporting crowns of stiff leaves that resembled giant palms, although they belonged to a very different family of plants. Walking through one of these forests would have been an unforgettable experience. Soft layers of fallen needles covered the ground. Moist air carried the earthy scent of wet soil and growing plants. Small streams quietly flowed between moss-covered stones, reflecting beams of sunlight that filtered through the canopy above. There were no colorful flowers decorating the landscape. Flowering plants would not appear until much later in Earth's history. Instead, the beauty of the prehistoric world came from endless shades of green, broken only by the reddish bark of ancient trees and the shimmering surfaces of quiet lakes. The sounds were different as well. Modern forests are filled with birds singing from every direction, but these ancient woodlands echoed with unfamiliar calls. Early insects buzzed among the leaves, primitive reptiles rustled through undergrowth, and distant dinosaurs communicated using sounds that scientists are still trying to understand. No one knows exactly what most dinosaurs sounded like. For many years, movies imagined them producing deafening roars that echoed for miles. Modern research suggests the truth may have been far more varied. Some dinosaurs may have produced deep rumbling vibrations similar to crocodiles. Others could have communicated with low-frequency calls that traveled long distances through forests. Feathered species may have hissed, clicked, boomed, or even made sounds unlike anything alive today. It is entirely possible that many dinosaur voices would have seemed surprisingly gentle. Large bodies often create lower sounds, and some researchers believe certain giant herbivores may have communicated using deep vibrations that humans could feel before they could hear them. Across an ancient valley, another herd might quietly answer with equally peaceful calls. Such conversations could have drifted through prehistoric mornings for hours at a time. Young dinosaurs spent much of their early lives learning the rhythms of their environment. Every stream offered water but also potential danger. Every patch of vegetation provided food, yet predators could be hiding nearby. Survival depended not only upon strength but also upon awareness. Many animals today learn by watching older members of their group, and evidence suggests some dinosaurs may have behaved in similar ways. Fossil discoveries have revealed nesting grounds containing eggs, hatchlings, juveniles, and adults living close together. These remarkable discoveries hint that at least some species cared for their young far longer than scientists once believed. Imagine a peaceful nesting colony beside a broad river. Dozens of carefully built nests rest upon sandy ground warmed by the morning sun. Adults patiently stand nearby while tiny hatchlings explore the world for the first time. Curious little dinosaurs investigate leaves, pebbles, fallen branches, and insects, occasionally returning to the safety of larger family members. Rather than existing as lonely wanderers, many dinosaurs may have lived surprisingly social lives. Herds likely offered protection. Hundreds of watchful eyes could detect danger far sooner than one individual alone. If a predator approached, the group could respond together, surrounding younger animals or fleeing towards safer ground. Large fossil sites discovered around the world often contain the remains of many individuals preserved together. While floods or droughts may explain some of these discoveries, others suggest that certain species naturally traveled in groups for much of their lives. Migration may also have been common. As seasons changed, food supplies shifted across enormous distances. Herds probably followed fresh vegetation just as modern elephants, caribou, or wildebeest do today. These slow journeys may have lasted weeks or even months, carrying entire communities across prehistoric landscapes. The paths they followed gradually became familiar routes repeated generation after generation. Even without maps, roads, or landmarks created by humans, animals possess remarkable abilities to navigate. Today's birds migrate across continents with astonishing accuracy. Sea turtles return to beaches where they hatched decades earlier. Salmon somehow locate the rivers of their birth. The ancestors of birds were already beginning to develop many remarkable adaptations long before humans ever wondered how they worked. As evening settled across the prehistoric forests, temperatures gradually became cooler. Warm sunlight faded into gentle twilight, and long shadows stretched between towering trees. Many daytime creatures slowed their movements while nocturnal hunters quietly became active. The stars slowly appeared overhead, exactly as they still do tonight. The moon, although slightly closer to Earth than it is today, illuminated quiet lakes and winding rivers with pale silver light. Gentle breezes stirred the tops of ancient trees while insects continued their endless chorus beneath the darkness. Some dinosaurs likely rested standing up. Others curled into sheltered places beneath vegetation or against fallen logs. Smaller feathered species may have tucked their heads beneath their forelimbs, conserving warmth through the night in a posture remarkably similar to sleeping birds today. For countless millions of nights, these peaceful routines repeated themselves beneath changing skies. Generation after generation lived ordinary lives, searching for food, raising young, avoiding danger, and resting beneath the stars, never knowing they would one day become some of the most famous animals in Earth's history. Their world was not extraordinary to them. It was simply home. Time moved onward in the quiet way it always has, never rushing and never pausing. Seasons came and went beyond counting. Rivers patiently carved new paths across the land, while gentle winds carried the spores of ancient plants from one valley to another. Entire forests slowly grew, aged, and disappeared, only to be replaced by new generations that looked remarkably similar to those before them. Eventually, the Earth entered what we now call the Jurassic period. This chapter of our planet's history lasted for tens of millions of years, giving life plenty of time to experiment, adapt, and flourish. It was during this age that many of the dinosaurs we recognize today, or at least their ancestors, began to spread across the world. The supercontinent of Pangaea was no longer as solid as it once had been. Deep beneath the surface, enormous forces slowly pulled the continents apart. The movement was incredibly slow, only a few centimeters each year, about as quickly as your fingernails grow. Yet given enough time, those tiny movements would completely reshape the face of the Earth. Great cracks formed across the land. Some eventually filled with seawater, creating young oceans that slowly widened over millions of years. New coastlines appeared, bringing fresh habitats where countless plants and animals could thrive. The changing geography also influenced the climate. Moist ocean air could now travel farther inland, bringing more rainfall to many regions. Vast forests expanded across valleys and hillsides, becoming greener and denser than before. Towering conifers reached astonishing heights. Ancient ginkgo trees spread their fan-shaped leaves toward the sunlight. Thick forests of tree ferns covered the ground below, creating cool, shaded environments where smaller animals could quietly move unseen. If you wandered through one of these forests, the air would have felt warm and humid. Drops of water might cling to every leaf after an early morning mist. Tiny streams trickled between moss-covered stones. Sunlight filtered through layers of branches, creating shifting patterns of light upon the forest floor. It was a peaceful world filled with life. Large insects drifted through shafts of sunlight. Dragonflies glided above quiet ponds. Primitive mammals, still very small during this time, quietly searched for food beneath fallen logs while trying not to attract the attention of larger reptiles. Although dinosaurs dominated the landscape, they did not live alone. The Jurassic world contained countless forms of life, each playing its own role within the ancient ecosystem. Every creature, no matter how small, contributed to the balance of nature. Some dinosaurs spent nearly their entire day eating. For the largest herbivores, feeding was almost a full-time occupation. Their enormous bodies required tremendous amounts of energy simply to stay alive. From sunrise until sunset, they slowly moved through forests and open plains, stripping leaves from branches with remarkable efficiency. One of the most famous giants was Diplodocus. Despite growing longer than many city buses, its head was surprisingly small compared with the rest of its body. Its long neck allowed it to reach vegetation over a wide area without needing to constantly move its massive feet. Scientists believe this simple design saved valuable energy. Rather than walking from tree to tree every few moments, Diplodocus could calmly stand in one place while sweeping its neck through broad arcs, collecting leaves from many different branches. Its tail was equally impressive. Stretching behind the enormous animal like a living rope, it helped maintain balance as the dinosaur slowly wandered across ancient floodplains. Some researchers even think the tail may have been capable of producing loud cracking sounds if swung quickly, though exactly how often this happened remains uncertain. Nearby, another remarkable giant quietly browsed among the trees. Brachiosaurus carried its shoulders higher than its hips, giving it a posture unlike almost any other dinosaur. Its exceptionally long front legs allowed it to reach leaves growing high above the ground, almost like a living ladder. Instead of competing for the same food, different herbivores often specialized in feeding at different heights. Some focused on low shrubs and ferns. Others preferred the middle branches. The tallest species reached leaves unavailable to anyone else. This natural division allowed many giant animals to share the same forests without exhausting their food supply. Nature often finds elegant solutions to crowded environments. Even today, giraffes, elephants, antelope, and zebras frequently share the same African savannas while eating different plants or feeding in different ways. The Jurassic forests likely followed similar patterns. As enormous as these giants were, they moved with surprising patience. Every step was deliberate. Every movement conserved energy. Walking too quickly would have wasted precious calories, while steady progress allowed them to travel great distances over the course of a day. Their footprints pressed deeply into soft ground. Sometimes those footprints filled with rainwater after passing storms, becoming tiny ponds where insects gathered and small amphibians found temporary shelter. Long after the giant animal had disappeared beyond the trees, its footsteps continued supporting other forms of life. Fossils preserving ancient trackways reveal that many dinosaurs traveled together. Rows of footprints often move in the same direction, suggesting entire herds crossed floodplains side by side. Young animals sometimes walked safely between larger adults. The smallest footprints remain close to the biggest ones, almost as though families stayed together throughout their journey. It is a comforting thought. Even in a world filled with enormous creatures, there were moments of quiet companionship. Parents guiding their young. Herds protecting one another. Communities moving together across landscapes that stretched far beyond the horizon. While peaceful herbivores wandered beneath the trees, predators also lived within these forests. Yet they did not spend every waking hour hunting. Like modern lions, crocodiles, or wolves, large carnivores likely rested for much of the day, conserving their energy until the right opportunity appeared. Among the most famous hunters was Allosaurus. Powerful yet graceful, it possessed sharp teeth designed for slicing through meat rather than crushing bone. Its strong legs carried it swiftly across open ground whenever speed became necessary. Despite its fearsome appearance, an Allosaurus probably experienced many quiet days without making a single chase. Successful hunting requires patience. Sometimes predators simply watched. Sometimes they waited. Sometimes they walked for hours without finding an opportunity worth pursuing. Nature is filled with long periods of stillness interrupted by only brief moments of action. The Jurassic world was no different. Most days passed peacefully beneath warm skies, with countless animals simply living ordinary lives, unaware that their distant future would one day become one of the greatest scientific stories ever uncovered. And as another gentle sunset painted the prehistoric sky with soft shades of orange and gold, the forest settled once more into peaceful silence, ready for another quiet night beneath a blanket of brilliant stars. When the first light of morning returned to the Jurassic forests, it arrived slowly and gently. A pale glow appeared along the distant horizon, spreading across the land as the sun climbed higher into the sky. Cool night air gradually warmed, tiny drops of dew sparkled on ancient ferns, and a new day quietly began for every creature that called this prehistoric world home. Some dinosaurs had already been awake for hours. Those that preferred the cooler temperatures of dawn wandered peacefully through open meadows and riverbanks before the heat of the afternoon settled over the landscape. The morning offered calm conditions for traveling, feeding, and exploring. Along the edge of a broad river, a herd of long-necked herbivores slowly made its way toward fresh vegetation. Their footsteps were steady and unhurried. Each enormous foot pressed gently into the damp soil, leaving behind deep impressions that would remain long after the herd had continued its journey. Some of those footprints might survive for thousands of years before being buried beneath layers of sediment, and in rare cases, they would eventually become fossils that scientists could study millions of years later. Today, fossilized footprints are among the most fascinating clues left behind by dinosaurs. Unlike bones, footprints capture a brief moment in time. They reveal how fast an animal was moving, the direction it traveled, whether it walked alone or with companions, and sometimes even whether it paused beside a river or changed course to avoid an obstacle. A single trail of footprints can tell an entire story without a single bone being present. In one part of the world, paleontologists discovered parallel trackways that suggest several large dinosaurs walked together across soft mud. The spacing between the footprints remained remarkably consistent, almost as though each member of the herd carefully matched the pace of the others. Perhaps there was no leader. Perhaps every animal simply followed the gentle rhythm of the group. Many animals today behave in exactly this way. Schools of fish turn together almost effortlessly. Flocks of birds move across the sky in graceful formations. Herds of elephants quietly adjust their speed to remain close to one another. Nature often values cooperation as much as strength. Not every dinosaur lived in large herds, however. Some likely preferred quieter lives. A solitary dinosaur could wander through dense forests for days, feeding peacefully while avoiding unnecessary attention. It knew every familiar stream, every shaded valley, and every patch of vegetation that provided reliable food. There is something calming about imagining these slow journeys. No clocks. No schedules. No roads. Only the changing position of the sun, the flowing rivers, and the endless cycle of day and night guiding each new adventure. The skies above the Jurassic world were busy as well. Although modern birds had not yet become widespread, flying reptiles called pterosaurs soared gracefully overhead. Despite often appearing beside dinosaurs in books and films, pterosaurs were not actually dinosaurs. Instead, they belonged to a closely related group of reptiles that mastered powered flight long before birds became common. Some species were no larger than pigeons. Others eventually grew wingspans wider than many small airplanes. Using warm rising air, they could glide for remarkable distances while barely moving their wings. Imagine looking upward from the forest floor. High above the tallest conifers, a pterosaur circles effortlessly on invisible currents of warm air. Its shadow slowly drifts across the trees below before disappearing beyond the distant hills. From that great height, the prehistoric landscape would have stretched endlessly toward the horizon. forests, rivers, lakes, mountain ranges, open plains. Everything connected into one vast living world. Meanwhile, beneath the canopy, life continued at a much slower pace. Tiny mammals searched for seeds hidden beneath fallen leaves. Small reptiles warmed themselves on sunlit rocks. Colorful insects moved quietly among ancient plants, carrying out routines that had changed little for millions of years. Even the largest dinosaurs shared their environment with countless creatures that often went unnoticed. In many ways, the smallest animals helped keep the ecosystem healthy. They recycled fallen plants. They scattered seeds. They became food for larger predators. Every living thing played a role, no matter how insignificant it may have appeared. This balance is one of nature's greatest achievements. Whether in prehistoric forests or modern woodlands, healthy ecosystems depend upon thousands of species working together without ever realizing it. No single creature exists entirely alone. The giant herbivores depended upon forests. The forests depended upon healthy soil. The soil depended upon countless tiny organisms invisible to the naked eye. Everything was connected through quiet relationships that had developed over millions of years. As the afternoon grew warmer, many dinosaurs sought cooler places to rest. Some stood beneath the shade of towering trees. Others remained close to rivers where gentle breezes drifted across the water. Large bodies can retain heat for long periods, so resting during the hottest hours may have helped many species conserve energy. Scientists continue studying fossil bones to better understand how dinosaurs regulated their body temperatures. Some evidence suggests many dinosaurs maintained body temperatures more similar to modern birds than modern reptiles. If true, they may have been far more active than people once imagined. Rather than sluggish giants slowly dragging themselves across the landscape, many dinosaurs were energetic animals capable of sustained movement over considerable distances. This discovery transformed the way scientists view prehistoric life. Each new fossil has the potential to rewrite ideas that seemed certain only a few years earlier. Science is always growing. Every expedition uncovers new questions. Every carefully prepared fossil reveals another small piece of Earth's extraordinary history. Even after more than 2 centuries of dinosaur research, remarkable discoveries continue to surprise experts around the world. Entire new species are still being found. Perfectly preserved feathers occasionally emerge from ancient rocks. Fossilized skin impressions reveal unexpected textures. Rare nests preserve eggs exactly where careful parents once left them. Every discovery reminds us how much remains hidden beneath the Earth's surface. There are still mountains waiting to be explored. Deserts where ancient skeletons remain buried beneath layers of sandstone. Remote valleys where fossils have rested undisturbed since long before the first humans appeared. Perhaps somewhere beneath an ordinary hillside lies the skeleton of a dinosaur unlike anything science has ever seen. Patiently waiting. Silent. Undiscovered. Just as it has waited for tens of millions of years. And while those secrets remain safely hidden beneath stone, the peaceful rhythm of Jurassic life continues through our imagination, inviting us to slow down, breathe deeply, and wander once more through a world that disappeared long before humanity ever looked up at the stars and wondered what came before. As afternoon slowly faded into evening, the golden light of the sun stretched farther across the ancient landscape. Long shadows reached between towering conifers, and the warm air gradually became cooler. The rivers reflected the changing colors of the sky, turning from bright blue to soft shades of amber and deep violet. For many dinosaurs, this was one of the most peaceful times of the day. The intense warmth of midday had passed, making it comfortable to continue feeding or to begin a slow journey toward familiar resting places. Large herbivores calmly wandered through open clearings, stripping fresh leaves from branches with gentle, repetitive movements that had become part of their daily routine. There was no hurry. Nature rarely rushed. Everything moved according to rhythms that had remained unchanged for countless generations. One fascinating detail about many plant-eating dinosaurs is the incredible amount of food they needed. Some of the largest species may have consumed hundreds of kilograms of vegetation every single day. Fortunately, the lush Jurassic forest provided an almost endless supply of leaves, shoots, and tender branches. Unlike modern cows, dinosaurs did not chew their food very much. Many swallowed vegetation in surprisingly large pieces before allowing their digestive systems to do most of the work. Inside their stomachs, food could remain for long periods while tough plant fibers slowly broke down. Some scientists believe certain dinosaurs swallowed smooth stones known as gastroliths. These stones stayed inside the stomach, gently helping to grind plant material as the animal moved throughout the day. Similar behavior can still be seen in many birds today, providing another fascinating connection between ancient dinosaurs and their modern descendants. It is remarkable how small clues can survive for millions of years. A polished stone discovered beside fossilized ribs might seem ordinary at first glance. Yet careful study can reveal that it once rested inside the stomach of an animal that walked the earth more than 150 million years ago. Science often advances through details that are almost invisible. A single feather. A single tooth. A tiny footprint. Even a microscopic grain of fossilized pollen can help researchers reconstruct an entire prehistoric environment. Every discovery becomes another sentence in Earth's enormous history book. Some pages remain incomplete. Others are still buried beneath layers of rock, patiently waiting for someone to uncover them. As the evening breeze moved through the forest, countless leaves gently swayed overhead. The sound would not have resembled a modern forest exactly. Without flowering trees and familiar deciduous forests, the rustling carried a different character, softer in some places and deeper in others, shaped by the unique plants of the Jurassic world. Nearby, a quiet lake reflected the sky like polished glass. Its surface remained almost perfectly still except for gentle ripples created by small reptiles swimming along the shoreline or insects briefly touching the water before continuing their flight. Water has always been one of nature's greatest gathering places. Animals arrived throughout the day to drink. Some came alone. Others arrived in family groups. Predators often visited as well, not only to hunt but simply because every living creature depends upon fresh water. These peaceful meeting places existed across the prehistoric world. Thousands of lakes. Countless rivers. Endless streams winding through forests and valleys. Each supported its own community of life. Some dinosaurs may have traveled great distances between reliable sources of water, especially during drier seasons. Modern elephants remember the locations of hidden waterholes for decades. It is possible that some dinosaurs possessed similarly impressive memories, allowing them to navigate enormous landscapes with confidence. Although we can never know exactly what they remembered, their survival suggests they understood their surroundings remarkably well. They recognized safe paths through forests. They knew where fresh plants appeared after seasonal rains. They understood which valleys offered shelter during storms. Experience was one of their greatest teachers. Young dinosaurs learned these patterns simply by following older members of their families or herds. Every journey became a lesson. Every season added another layer of knowledge. Over time, familiar landscapes became maps stored within memory rather than drawn upon paper. Far above the forests, enormous clouds slowly drifted across the evening sky. The Jurassic atmosphere was rich with moisture in many regions, allowing dramatic thunderstorms to develop during certain seasons. Lightning occasionally flashed beyond distant mountains, illuminating towering clouds for only an instant before darkness returned. Rain was both gentle and powerful. Sometimes it arrived as a light shower that quietly refreshed the forests. Other times, enormous storms transformed peaceful rivers into rushing torrents that reshaped entire valleys. Floods could carry fallen trees for many kilometers. Fresh layers of mud settled across floodplains, preserving footprints, plants, and sometimes even the remains of animals beneath fine sediments. Millions of years later, those very sediments would harden into stone. Within them, fossils would remain protected through unimaginable spans of time. In a way, every fossil is a message from another world. Not a message written with words, but one written through bones, footprints, feathers, eggs, and ancient leaves. Together, these silent clues tell the story of life long before humans existed. As darkness continued spreading across the land, the stars gradually appeared overhead. The constellations were not quite the same as those we recognize today. The stars themselves slowly moved through our galaxy over millions of years, changing their positions ever so slightly. Still, many familiar points of light were already shining above the dinosaurs. Ancient starlight crossed vast distances through space before finally reaching Earth. Some of the light visible in Jurassic skies had already been traveling for hundreds or even thousands of years before dinosaurs looked upward beneath the quiet night. Even then, the universe was unimaginably old. Galaxies continued their slow dance through space. New stars formed inside glowing clouds of gas. Others quietly reached the end of their lives, scattering the elements that would one day become new worlds. The dinosaurs never knew they were part of such an enormous cosmic story. Yet they were. Every living thing on Earth has always been connected to the universe itself. The calcium in ancient dinosaur bones. The iron carried through their blood. The oxygen they breathed. All of these elements were forged inside stars that lived billions of years before the Earth even formed. In that sense, dinosaurs were quite literally made of stardust. And so are we. It is a gentle reminder that although millions of years separate us from these magnificent animals, we share the same remarkable universe, the same ancient atoms, and the same quiet planet that continues its endless journey around the sun. As another peaceful Jurassic night settled across the forests, the world became wonderfully calm once again. Only the whisper of the wind, the slow flow of rivers, and the quiet footsteps of distant dinosaurs remained beneath a sky filled with countless stars. The night settled gently over the prehistoric world, wrapping forests, rivers, and distant mountains beneath a blanket of quiet darkness. The air became cooler, and a soft mist slowly formed above lakes and wetlands, drifting lazily across the landscape like a pale silver veil. The moon hung high above the Earth. Although it looked familiar, it was slightly closer to our planet than it is today. This meant the moon would have appeared just a little larger in the sky, quietly illuminating the ancient forests with its gentle light. Moonlight reflected from winding rivers, turning them into glowing ribbons that stretched across the valleys. Even in darkness, life continued. Some animals rested peacefully until sunrise, while others became active only after the world had grown quiet. Tiny mammals cautiously emerged from hidden burrows, using the cover of darkness to search for seeds, insects, and fallen fruits from primitive plants. These early mammals were incredibly small. Most were no larger than modern mice or squirrels, and they lived carefully in a world ruled by giant reptiles. During the day, remaining hidden was often the safest choice. At night, however, they could quietly explore while many larger animals rested. Although dinosaurs dominated the land, mammals were already beginning their own remarkable journey. For millions of years they remained small and unnoticed, patiently surviving alongside creatures many hundreds of times their size. They did not know that one distant day, their descendants would spread across every continent on Earth. History often unfolds in unexpected ways. The smallest creatures sometimes inherit the greatest opportunities. As the stars slowly crossed the sky, a gentle breeze carried the rich scent of damp soil through the forests. Ancient conifers released their fresh resin fragrance into the cool night air, while moist ferns quietly collected tiny droplets of water that sparkled beneath the moonlight. If someone could have stood there in silence, they might have noticed how peaceful the prehistoric world truly was. Movies often portray dinosaurs living in endless chaos. In reality, most days, and most nights, were likely calm. Animals spent the majority of their lives feeding, resting, raising their young, and avoiding unnecessary conflict. Just as lions spend much of their day sleeping, many large dinosaurs probably rested whenever they were not searching for food. Nature values conserving energy. Every unnecessary movement requires effort. Every chase carries risk. Remaining calm often increases the chance of survival. This simple principle has guided life on Earth for hundreds of millions of years. Far away, beyond the forests, volcanoes quietly shaped the land. The Jurassic world was geologically active. Occasional eruptions built new mountains, spread rich minerals across the landscape, and created entirely new environments where plants would eventually grow. Although volcanic eruptions can seem destructive, they also help renew the Earth. Fresh volcanic rock slowly breaks down into fertile soil. New forests eventually appear. Rivers carve fresh valleys. Life patiently returns, adapting once again to changing conditions. Earth has always been a planet of constant renewal. Nothing remains exactly the same forever. Mountains slowly wear away. Oceans open and close. Continents drift across the globe. Species appear, flourish, and eventually disappear. Yet life itself continues, finding new paths forward through every challenge. This remarkable resilience is one of the greatest stories in natural history. The dinosaurs lived through countless environmental changes. Temperatures rose and fell. Sea levels changed. Forests expanded into new regions while others gradually disappeared. Generation after generation quietly adapted to these shifting conditions. Some species became larger. Others became smaller. Some developed stronger jaws, longer necks, sharper eyesight, or faster legs. Evolution did not follow a straight path. Instead, it explored countless possibilities, slowly shaping animals that were perfectly suited to their environments. Many of the most successful dinosaurs survived not because they were the strongest, but because they were the most adaptable. Adaptability remains one of life's greatest strengths. It has helped living organisms survive ice ages, droughts, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, and countless other challenges throughout Earth's history. While the forests rested beneath the stars, another remarkable process quietly continued beneath the ground. Tiny insects and microorganisms slowly broke down fallen leaves and dead wood. Fungi spread delicate threads through the soil, recycling nutrients that would one day nourish new plants. Without these unseen workers, forests could not survive. Every towering tree depended upon countless tiny organisms hidden beneath the surface. Even in the age of dinosaurs, the smallest forms of life were among the most important. Nature often reminds us that greatness is not always measured by size. Sometimes the quietest lives have the greatest influence. High above the Earth, the familiar band of the Milky Way stretched from one horizon to the other. Without city lights, its countless stars formed a brilliant river across the heavens. The dinosaurs never named these stars. They never imagined galaxies or black holes. Yet every night they lived beneath the same universe we admire today. Some of the light reaching Earth during the Jurassic had begun its journey before the first dinosaurs even existed. Other starlight visible in the sky came from stars that may no longer exist today. The universe constantly changes, though those changes often unfold far too slowly for any single lifetime to notice. That quiet patience connects astronomy with paleontology. Both sciences invite us to think beyond ordinary time. They encourage us to imagine millions, and sometimes billions, of years unfolding like the turning pages of an enormous book. Each fossil represents a single page. Each mountain another chapter. Each continent another volume in Earth's extraordinary library. As the night slowly approached its quietest hours, the forests became almost completely still. The rivers continued their gentle journey toward distant seas. The wind whispered softly through ancient branches. Far away, the silhouette of a giant long-necked dinosaur stood peacefully against the moonlit horizon, calmly reaching for leaves high among the treetops before lowering its head and becoming almost motionless. In the silence, it was easy to forget that these enormous creatures would one day vanish from the earth. For now, they simply lived one ordinary night after another, unaware that their footprints, their bones, and even the eggs they carefully buried would become precious windows into a world that disappeared tens of millions of years before the first human ever looked up at the stars and wondered what ancient stories were hidden beneath the ground. And beneath that calm Jurassic sky, where moonlight touched the forests and gentle rivers flowed without hurry, another peaceful night quietly drifted toward dawn. At the very first hint of dawn, the eastern horizon began to brighten once again. The stars slowly faded, one by one, as a gentle blue light spread across the sky. The moon lingered for a little while longer before becoming pale against the growing daylight. Another morning had arrived in the Jurassic world, and just as it had countless times before, life quietly awakened. A cool breeze drifted across the floodplains. Tiny drops of dew rested on every fern, every needle of every conifer, and every broad leaf of every cycad. As the first rays of sunlight reached the landscape, those droplets shimmered like thousands of tiny crystals scattered across the forest floor. It was a peaceful beginning to another ordinary day. For a young dinosaur taking its first steps outside the shelter of its family, the world must have seemed impossibly large. Every fallen branch became an obstacle to climb over. Every strange sound invited curiosity. Every patch of sunlight revealed something new to explore. Like young animals today, juvenile dinosaurs were naturally curious. They learned about their surroundings by watching, listening, and following older members of their group. Experience could not be inherited. It had to be gained one careful step at a time. Imagine a small herbivorous dinosaur walking beside its parent. Its legs moved much faster to keep pace with the larger adult. Every few moments it stopped to examine an unfamiliar leaf or watched a colorful insect disappear beneath a fern. The adult continued walking with quiet confidence, knowing the safest paths through the forest. Without speaking a single word, knowledge was being passed from one generation to the next. This silent form of learning has existed for millions of years. Today, elephant calves follow their mothers across African savannas. Young wolves learn hunting routes by traveling with the pack. Baby whales remain close beside their mothers during long migrations. The Jurassic forests likely witnessed similar scenes every single day. One remarkable fact about dinosaurs is that many of them grew incredibly quickly. Scientists studying fossil bones have discovered growth rings, similar in some ways to the rings inside trees. These rings reveal that certain dinosaurs experienced rapid growth during their early years. Some species could increase their body weight at astonishing speeds. A hatchling small enough to fit comfortably in human hands might eventually grow into an animal weighing several tons. Nature accomplished this transformation quietly, one day at a time. No single sunrise revealed a dramatic difference. Yet after enough seasons had passed, the tiny youngster had become a magnificent adult. Patience is one of nature's greatest lessons. Everything important takes time. Forests require centuries to mature. Mountains require millions of years to rise. Stars require billions of years to form. Even the greatest dinosaurs once began life inside eggs not much larger than those laid by modern birds. Those eggs were remarkable structures. Their shells protected the growing embryo while allowing tiny amounts of air and moisture to pass through microscopic pores. Inside, a developing dinosaur gradually formed bones, muscles, feathers in some species, and eventually the strength needed to break free. The moment of hatching must have been extraordinary. Using a small temporary tooth located on the tip of its snout, the baby dinosaur slowly cracked the shell from the inside. Piece by piece, the opening became larger until the hatchling finally emerged into a world filled with unfamiliar sights, sounds, and scents. Its first breath marked the beginning of a journey that could last for decades. Not every hatchling survived. Nature has always been filled with challenges. Many eggs became food for other animals before they had a chance to hatch. Some young dinosaurs faced predators within days of being born. Yet enough survived to ensure that dinosaurs continued flourishing across the Earth for millions upon millions of years. Scientists have discovered fossilized nesting grounds containing hundreds of eggs arranged in careful patterns. These discoveries suggest that some dinosaurs returned to the same nesting areas year after year, much like sea turtles returning to familiar beaches or certain birds revisiting old nesting colonies. The instinct to return home is deeply rooted in many living creatures. Perhaps ancient dinosaurs felt something similar. Perhaps familiar valleys, rivers, or forests offered a sense of safety that had been passed through generations. Although we cannot know exactly what they experienced, the fossil evidence hints at lives that were far more complex than people once imagined. Many dinosaurs likely recognized members of their own species. Some probably communicated through body language. Others may have used sounds too low for human ears to detect. A raised tail. A gentle call. A change in posture. Simple signals may have conveyed important information across an entire herd. Communication in nature is often wonderfully subtle. A glance can warn of danger. A movement can invite others to follow. Silence itself can carry meaning. As the sun climbed higher into the sky, warm light spread across a wide valley where dozens of herbivores peacefully grazed together. From a distance, the herd resembled a slow-moving river flowing through the forest. No individual hurried ahead. No one fell far behind. The entire group moved with an almost effortless rhythm that had developed through countless generations. Nearby, birds had not yet become as common as they are today, but some feathered dinosaurs already displayed behaviors that would seem familiar to anyone who has watched modern birds. They carefully cleaned their feathers. They stretched their limbs after resting. Some likely used feathers not only for warmth but also for communication and courtship. Long before colorful songbirds filled the skies, feathers had already become one of evolution's greatest inventions. At first, feathers may simply have helped small dinosaurs stay warm. Later, they became useful for display. Eventually, they allowed flight to evolve. One simple adaptation opened the door to an entirely new way of living. It is amazing to think that every sparrow, eagle, owl, hummingbird, penguin, and robin alive today carries a living connection to the age of dinosaurs. Birds are not merely relatives of dinosaurs. They are dinosaurs. The next time you hear birds singing outside your window, you are listening to the distant echoes of an ancient world. Their ancestors survived when countless other dinosaur species disappeared. They continued the story that began more than 230 million years ago. And even now, Every gentle flap of a bird's wings reminds us that the age of dinosaurs never completely ended. It simply transformed into something new, carrying a small piece of the prehistoric world into every sunrise we see today. As the warm morning slowly gave way to midday, sunlight poured across the ancient landscape with a gentle brilliance. The tops of towering conifer trees glowed in shades of deep green, while broad river valleys shimmered beneath the clear Jurassic sky. From high above, the earth would have looked wonderfully alive. Great forests stretched for hundreds of kilometers without interruption. Winding rivers traced silver paths toward distant seas, while shallow lakes sparkled like polished mirrors scattered across the land. There were no cities. No roads. No bridges crossing the rivers. No towers reaching toward the clouds. The only structures were those patiently created by nature itself. Every hill had been shaped by wind and rain. Every valley had been carved by flowing water. Every mountain rose because of immense forces deep beneath the Earth's crust. It was a planet that belonged entirely to the natural world. One of the most fascinating aspects of dinosaur life is that they inhabited nearly every kind of environment available at the time. Some preferred dense forests where tall trees offered shade throughout the day. Others lived on wide floodplains where fresh vegetation constantly appeared after seasonal rains. Still others adapted to drier regions, where surviving required careful use of food and water. Nature rarely creates only one solution. Instead, different species discover different ways to thrive. This diversity became one of the greatest strengths of the dinosaurs. Over millions of years they evolved into thousands of unique species, each perfectly suited to its own way of life. Some developed powerful legs for running. Others grew long necks for reaching high branches. Some evolved heavy armor covered with thick plates and sharp spikes. Others relied upon speed rather than protection. Every adaptation told a story. Every horn, feather, claw, or tail had been shaped by countless generations of gradual change. Among the peaceful giants, one dinosaur quietly stood out for its remarkable appearance. Stegosaurus carried two neat rows of enormous plates running along its back. For many years, scientists wondered why these plates existed. Were they used for defense? Did they help regulate body temperature? Or were they simply beautiful displays used to communicate with other Stegosaurus? The answer may involve several of these possibilities. Nature often gives a single feature more than one purpose. Modern animals remind us of this every day. The colorful feathers of a peacock attract attention while also communicating health. The antlers of deer help during competition but also display strength. The large ears of elephants assist with hearing while helping cool the body. Evolution enjoys efficiency. The plates of Stegosaurus may have done the same. Although impressive to look at, the dinosaur itself probably lived a surprisingly peaceful life. Most of its day would have been spent searching for low-growing plants. Its small head remained close to the ground while its powerful legs carried it slowly through ancient meadows. Behind it, four long spikes extended from the end of its tail. Today these spikes are often called the thagomizer, a name that began as a joke in a newspaper comic before eventually becoming widely accepted by paleontologists in an amusing twist of scientific history. Even science occasionally smiles. Not every discovery needs to begin with a formal name. Sometimes curiosity and humor quietly become part of the story as well. While Stegosaurus calmly browsed nearby vegetation, another remarkable dinosaur explored the skies, not by flying, but by observing. Many dinosaurs possessed excellent eyesight. Large eyes allowed them to notice movement from considerable distances. For herbivores, sharp vision provided early warning whenever danger approached. For predators, keen eyesight increased the chances of locating prey across wide open plains. Sight was only one part of their remarkable senses. Many species likely possessed an excellent sense of smell. Scientists study the shapes of fossilized skulls to estimate the size of ancient brain regions responsible for processing different senses. Some dinosaurs appear to have devoted significant portions of their brains to smell, suggesting they could detect scents carried over long distances by gentle winds. Imagine standing quietly within a prehistoric forest. Long before another animal became visible, its scent might already be drifting through the trees. The smell of fresh vegetation, moist soil after rain, flowing water nearby. Nature constantly provides information to those able to notice it. Modern animals read these invisible signals with extraordinary skill. Ancient dinosaurs almost certainly did the same. Around midday, warm air began rising from sunlit rocks and open grasslands. High overhead, pterosaurs effortlessly glided upon these invisible columns of rising air. Without flapping their wings very often, they circled higher and higher, conserving energy while searching for food below. From their lofty viewpoint, the landscape unfolded in breathtaking detail. Meandering rivers, shimmering lakes, green forests stretching beyond the horizon. Herds of dinosaurs moving like slow currents across broad valleys. Even today, birds of prey experience similar views while soaring above mountains and plains. Although separated by millions of years, the skies continue carrying silent travelers upon warm currents of air. One quiet mystery still fascinates scientists. Exactly what colors were many dinosaurs? For generations, no one knew. Fossils preserved bones beautifully, but colors seemed forever lost. Then researchers made an astonishing discovery. Within exceptionally preserved fossil feathers, tiny microscopic structures called melanosomes had survived. These structures contain clues about ancient pigments. By comparing them with those found in living birds, scientists can sometimes estimate the colors of feathered dinosaurs. Some may have displayed rich browns, others soft grays. Some perhaps possessed striking black feathers that shimmered with hints of blue in bright sunlight. A few species may even have carried patterned feathers used for camouflage among shadows and leaves. The prehistoric world was probably far more colorful than early illustrations suggested. It reminds us that science continually improves our understanding. Every decade reveals details previous generations could scarcely imagine discovering. There is something wonderfully hopeful about that. No matter how much we learn, the Earth still holds countless secrets. Beneath quiet hillsides, inside forgotten cliffs, hidden beneath desert sands, new fossils patiently wait for curious minds to uncover them. Perhaps somewhere beneath an ordinary field lies the skeleton of a dinosaur whose colors, behavior, and appearance will surprise the world. Until that day arrives, the ancient forests remain alive in our imagination, inviting us to wander peacefully beneath towering trees where gentle giants once walked, where rivers quietly flowed toward distant oceans, and where every sunrise marked another ordinary yet extraordinary day in the remarkable age of the dinosaurs. As the afternoon slowly unfolded, warm sunlight drifted across the prehistoric landscape in broad golden waves. The forest seemed almost endless, stretching beyond distant hills where the horizon faded into a soft blue haze. Gentle breezes carried the scent of resin from ancient conifers, mingling with the fresh fragrance of damp earth and growing ferns. For countless generations, these forests had remained home to an incredible variety of life. Every tree offered shelter. Every river supported hundreds of different creatures. Every quiet clearing became part of a much larger story that had been unfolding for millions of years. One of the most remarkable facts about dinosaurs is that they lived for an astonishingly long span of Earth's history. When we think of dinosaurs, it is easy to imagine them existing during one single age, but the reality is very different. The dinosaurs first appeared around 230 million years ago and continued to thrive until about 66 million years ago. That means they ruled the land for roughly 165 million years. To put that into perspective, modern humans have existed for only a tiny fraction of that time. If all of Earth's history were compressed into a single day, humanity would arrive only during the final moments before midnight. The dinosaurs experienced changes so gradual that no individual could ever notice them. Mountain ranges slowly rose. Coastlines quietly shifted. Entire oceans opened as continents drifted apart. Yet from one lifetime to the next, the world still felt familiar. Nature is patient. Its greatest transformations happen almost invisibly. The same is true today. Every year, the continents continue moving. The Atlantic Ocean grows slightly wider. Mountains slowly erode. Even now, the Earth is changing beneath our feet, though we rarely notice it. During the Jurassic, enormous forests captured vast amounts of carbon from the atmosphere. These forests helped shape the climate, producing oxygen and supporting ecosystems that stretched across entire continents. Plants have always been silent architects of life on Earth. Without them, none of the great dinosaurs could have survived. The giant herbivores depended upon forests. The predators depended upon herbivores. And the forests depended upon sunlight, rainfall, fertile soil, and countless tiny organisms hidden beneath the ground. Every living thing was connected. This balance has remained one of nature's greatest achievements. Even the smallest insect contributed in some way. It pollinated primitive plants, recycled nutrients, or became food for another animal. Nothing existed entirely on its own. One especially fascinating discovery made by paleontologists involves fossilized dinosaur skin. For many years, people imagined every dinosaur covered in rough reptilian scales. Then scientists began uncovering incredibly preserved impressions left in ancient rocks. Some species truly did have thick scales. Others possessed pebbled skin resembling modern reptiles. And many smaller dinosaurs were covered with feathers. Nature never followed a single design. Instead, evolution experimented endlessly. Different environments encouraged different adaptations. Cold climates favored insulation. Open grasslands rewarded speed. Dense forests encouraged camouflage. Every feature developed because it offered some advantage over countless generations. Some dinosaurs likely changed appearance as they grew older. Young individuals may have displayed different colors or patterns from adults. Just as baby birds, deer, or crocodiles look different from their parents today, ancient dinosaurs probably experienced similar changes throughout their lives. Scientists continue investigating these possibilities by studying growth stages preserved within fossil collections. Each skeleton adds another piece to an enormous puzzle. One complete fossil rarely tells the entire story. Instead, researchers compare hundreds of discoveries collected from around the world. A leg bone found in Argentina. A tooth uncovered in Mongolia. A feather preserved in China. Footprints discovered in Canada. Together, they slowly reveal the lives of creatures that vanished millions of years ago. Paleontology is a little like solving a mystery where most of the pages have been lost. Every new discovery fills another small gap. Sometimes a single fossil changes ideas that scientists believed for decades. That is one of the beautiful qualities of science. It welcomes new evidence. It grows stronger whenever better information becomes available. Far beyond the forests, gentle waves rolled against ancient coastlines. The Jurassic seas were filled with extraordinary life. Although marine reptiles like ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs are often associated with dinosaurs, they were actually separate groups of reptiles that evolved alongside them. This surprises many people. Not every prehistoric giant was a dinosaur. Flying pterosaurs were not dinosaurs. Marine reptiles were not dinosaurs. True dinosaurs lived primarily on land and shared a unique body structure that distinguished them from their prehistoric relatives. Even experts continue refining exactly how different ancient animals are classified. Nature rarely fits into simple categories. The oceans themselves were peaceful places much of the time. Schools of fish drifted through warm waters. Ancient ammonites floated gracefully using beautifully spiraled shells. Coral reefs supported vibrant underwater ecosystems long before modern reef fish appeared. The Jurassic world extended far beyond the forests. It included coastlines, rivers, wetlands, deserts, islands, mountains, and shallow tropical seas. Each environment offered its own quiet rhythm. Each supported species found nowhere else. As evening slowly approached once more, sunlight softened into shades of gold and copper. Long-necked dinosaurs cast enormous shadows across open floodplains. Pterosaurs returned toward familiar cliffs where many may have rested together after long hours soaring above the landscape. The forests became quieter. Warm breezes cooled. Another ordinary day was gently coming to an end. No creature knew it was living during one of the most extraordinary chapters in Earth's history. To them, it was simply another peaceful evening beneath an endless sky, where rivers continued flowing, forests continued growing, and life quietly carried on exactly as it had for millions of years before. As another peaceful evening settled across the Jurassic landscape, the world slowly prepared for another night beneath the stars. The last rays of sunlight disappeared behind distant mountains, leaving behind a sky painted with soft shades of orange, pink, and deep blue. The forests gradually became darker, but they never became truly silent. Life continued everywhere. Small creatures moved beneath fallen leaves. Insects hummed through the warm air. Rivers continued their endless journey toward the sea. And somewhere beyond the trees, the slow footsteps of giant dinosaurs echoed through ancient valleys. The Jurassic world was not a world frozen in time. It was constantly changing. Every day brought new challenges. Every season transformed the landscape. Every generation carried small differences that shaped the future of life on Earth. One of the most fascinating examples of this constant change was the evolution of dinosaur body sizes. When dinosaurs first appeared, many were relatively small. They were quick, lightweight animals living among many other reptiles. But over millions of years, certain groups discovered advantages in becoming larger. A larger body could offer protection from predators. It could allow animals to travel farther. It could help them reach food sources unavailable to smaller creatures. Size became one of the many strategies dinosaurs used to survive. The Jurassic period became famous for some of the largest land animals ever known. These enormous herbivores were part of a group called sauropods. They included dinosaurs with incredibly long necks, massive bodies, and tails stretching far behind them. Their size remains difficult for humans to imagine. A single footprint could become a small pool after rainfall. Their hearts had to move blood through enormous bodies. Their bones needed to be strong enough to support tremendous weight while remaining light enough for movement. Nature solved these challenges through millions of years of evolution. The internal structures of sauropod bones were specially adapted. Many had air-filled spaces that reduced weight while maintaining strength. This same basic principle would later become extremely important in birds, allowing them to fly efficiently. Looking inside a dinosaur skeleton reveals a surprising connection between giant land animals and the smallest birds visiting our gardens today. Both carry traces of the same evolutionary history. Among these giant dinosaurs was Apatosaurus, once known by another famous name due to early scientific confusion. For many years, scientists believed two different skeletons represented separate animals, but later research revealed they were actually connected. This story reminds us that even scientists can make mistakes. The important part is not avoiding every mistake. The important part is continuing to learn. New discoveries and better technology allow researchers to revisit old ideas and improve our understanding of the past. Science is not a finished book. It is an ongoing conversation between evidence, curiosity, and imagination. Another famous giant was Diplodocus. Its body was built almost like a living bridge. A long neck reached toward vegetation. A long tail balanced its enormous frame. Four sturdy legs carried it slowly across prehistoric landscapes. Despite its incredible size, Diplodocus probably did not need to be aggressive. Its greatest defense was simply being enormous. Few predators would risk attacking a healthy adult. Sometimes the safest strategy in nature is not fighting. It is becoming too difficult to challenge. Modern elephants demonstrate a similar idea. Their size alone prevents many predators from approaching. Their young are still vulnerable, but adults are powerful enough to command respect. Large dinosaurs likely experienced similar advantages. However, being large also created challenges. A massive body requires enormous amounts of energy. Finding enough food became a daily responsibility. Fortunately, Jurassic forests were incredibly productive. Plants grew rapidly under warm conditions, providing a constant supply of vegetation. The Earth itself supported these giants. Climate, plants, and geography all worked together to create an environment where enormous animals could exist. The relationship between dinosaurs and plants was deeply connected. Herbivores shaped the forests by feeding on vegetation. Their movement spread seeds and transported nutrients across the landscape. Their waste returned minerals to the soil, helping new plants grow. Animals and plants were partners in an ancient cycle that continued year after year. Today, we see similar relationships everywhere. Elephants shape African forests. Beavers transform rivers. Large grazing animals influence grasslands. Every species changes its environment in some way. Dinosaurs were no exception. Their presence shaped the world around them. In some places, herds of enormous herbivores may have created natural pathways through forests. Their repeated movements could clear vegetation and open areas for new plants to grow. Even their footsteps became part of the landscape. Over time, trails became familiar routes. Routes became migration paths. Migration paths connected different ecosystems. Life was always moving. The Jurassic world was filled with journeys. Some were short trips from a nest to a nearby feeding area. Others stretched across entire regions as animals followed seasonal changes. Migration is one of nature's oldest traditions. Long before humans crossed continents, countless animals were already traveling incredible distances. Birds fly thousands of kilometers every year. Whales cross entire oceans. Caribou travel across vast Arctic landscapes. And dinosaurs may have made some of the most impressive migrations ever recorded. Scientists have discovered evidence suggesting certain dinosaurs traveled in large groups across enormous distances. The clues are hidden in fossilized footprints, bone beds, and geological layers. A single discovery rarely provides certainty. Instead, researchers combine many different pieces of evidence to build a clearer picture. Sometimes the answer remains uncertain. And that uncertainty is part of what makes studying dinosaurs so fascinating. There are still mysteries waiting to be solved. Perhaps some dinosaur behaviors will never be fully understood. Perhaps some questions will remain hidden forever. But every mystery invites curiosity. Every unanswered question encourages exploration. As the night grew deeper, the Jurassic forests rested beneath a sky filled with stars. The giant dinosaurs that walked beneath those stars had no idea their existence would one day inspire scientists, artists, filmmakers, and dreamers across the entire planet. They simply lived. They searched for food. They cared for their young. They traveled beneath the changing seasons. They experienced ordinary moments beneath extraordinary skies. And although their world disappeared millions of years ago, their story continues every time someone looks at a fossil and wonders about the incredible creatures that once walked upon the Earth. The night continued its quiet journey across the Jurassic world. Above the forests, countless stars slowly moved across the darkness, while below, ancient creatures followed the same natural rhythms that had guided life for millions of years. The rivers flowed without interruption, the forest breathed with every gentle breeze, and the enormous creatures that ruled the land rested beneath a sky that looked almost unchanged from the one we see today. Morning would eventually arrive. The sun would rise again. Another day would begin. And for millions of years, this cycle repeated. One of the greatest mysteries surrounding dinosaurs is how they lived their daily lives. Fossils preserve bones beautifully, but bones cannot tell us everything. They cannot directly show emotions. They cannot record sounds. They cannot reveal every interaction between family members. Scientists must carefully study clues left behind in rocks to understand the hidden stories of these ancient animals. A fossilized nest suggests care. A group of footprints suggests movement. A healed injury suggests survival. A collection of skeletons suggests relationships between individuals. Piece by piece, scientists rebuild a world that vanished long before humans appeared. Sometimes these discoveries reveal something unexpected. For many years, dinosaurs were imagined as solitary creatures. Large reptiles wandering alone across empty landscapes. But modern evidence paints a much richer picture. Many dinosaurs were likely social animals. They may have traveled together, communicated with one another, and protected younger members of their groups. This changes the way we imagine prehistoric life. The ancient world was not simply filled with monsters. It was filled with communities, families, groups, individuals with their own behaviors and adaptations. One fascinating group of dinosaurs that demonstrates this complexity is the hadrosaurs, often called duck-billed dinosaurs. These herbivores were incredibly successful and existed in many different forms. Their wide, flattened mouths were perfectly designed for processing plant material. Some species possessed hundreds of tightly packed teeth. As older teeth became worn down, new ones replaced them, allowing these dinosaurs to continue feeding throughout their lives. This ability was extremely valuable. Plants can be difficult to digest. Leaves, stems, and branches contain tough fibers that require specialized adaptations. Different dinosaurs developed different methods of handling this challenge. Some swallowed food quickly and relied on large digestive systems. Others used teeth designed for slicing or grinding. Nature created countless solutions to the same problem. How do you survive by eating plants? The answer changed depending on the environment. In dense forests, one strategy worked. In open landscapes, another strategy succeeded. Evolution constantly adjusted to new conditions. Among the duck-billed dinosaurs was one especially interesting species with a long, hollow crest extending from its head. This dinosaur, Parasaurolophus, carried a structure unlike almost anything alive today. For decades, scientists wondered about its purpose. The crest may have helped produce sounds. Inside the crest were long air passages that could have changed the way air moved through the body. Some researchers believe Parasaurolophus may have created deep, resonating calls that traveled across great distances. Imagine standing beside a prehistoric lake. The morning mist covers the water. The forests are quiet. Then, from far away, a deep sound slowly rises. Not a roar. Not a scream. A low, powerful call traveling through the landscape. Another member of the group answers. The sound echoes between trees. A hidden conversation taking place across an ancient world. Communication is one of the most powerful tools in nature. Whales sing across oceans. Birds call through forests. Elephants communicate using sounds humans can barely hear. Dinosaurs likely developed their own languages of movement and sound. Although we may never know exactly what they said, the evidence suggests they were not silent creatures. They lived in a world filled with communication. Another incredible discovery came from fossilized dinosaur eggs. Some eggs have been found with embryos still preserved inside. These rare fossils provide a glimpse into the earliest moments of dinosaur life. Scientists can study developing bones, growth patterns, and even the position of the embryo within the egg. These discoveries reveal that baby dinosaurs were not simply miniature adults. Their bodies changed dramatically as they grew. Their proportions shifted. Their abilities developed. Their needs changed over time. Just as a human child gradually becomes an adult, dinosaurs experience their own journeys of growth and transformation. Some young dinosaurs had larger eyes compared with their body size. This may have helped them appear more alert and dependent during early life. Others had different teeth or body shapes before reaching adulthood. Growing up was a long process. It required learning. It required protection. It required time. Every dinosaur that reached adulthood represented a remarkable achievement. Survival in the prehistoric world was never guaranteed. The environment could change suddenly. A storm could destroy a nesting area. A predator could appear without warning. A drought could reduce available food. Yet life continued. Generation after generation carried the story forward. One of the reasons dinosaurs became so successful was their ability to adapt. They were not a single type of animal. They were an enormous family containing countless different branches. Some were hunters. Some were plant eaters. Some were covered in feathers. Some carried armor. Some were smaller than modern chickens. Others were among the largest creatures ever to walk on land. Their diversity was their strength. A changing world could eliminate certain species, but others survived by finding new opportunities. This is a pattern seen throughout Earth's history. Life rarely moves in a straight line. It branches. It experiments. It changes direction. The dinosaurs themselves were part of a much larger evolutionary story stretching back billions of years. Before them came countless other creatures. After them came new groups that continued adapting. The Earth has never belonged permanently to one species. Every dominant group eventually faces change. The oceans once belonged to ancient creatures long before dinosaurs appeared. The skies were ruled by different animals before birds evolved. Even the dinosaurs themselves eventually gave way to mammals becoming dominant on land. But during their long reign, they created one of the most remarkable chapters our planet has ever known. As the first hints of another dawn approached, the Jurassic forest slowly awakened. The stars faded. The rivers caught the first reflections of sunlight. And once again, the ancient world prepared for another day filled with movement, discovery, and the quiet stories of creatures that would one day become legends. The first rays of sunlight touched the Jurassic landscape once again. A soft golden glow spread across the valleys, warming the leaves of ancient forests and awakening the countless creatures hidden beneath the trees. The morning air was filled with gentle movement as insects began their daily activity, small animals searched for food, and enormous dinosaurs slowly returned to their routines. Every sunrise in the Jurassic world was a reminder of how much life existed on Earth. Millions of years before humans built cities, before written language recorded stories, and before anyone looked toward the stars wondering about distant worlds, these ancient ecosystems were already filled with complexity. The dinosaurs were not simply surviving. They were thriving. One reason dinosaurs became so successful was their incredible variety of body designs. Evolution created forms so different from one another that it can sometimes seem impossible they belong to the same broad group of animals. A long-necked sauropod and a tiny feathered dinosaur may appear completely unrelated at first glance. Yet deep inside their skeletons, scientists find connections. Shared features in their hips, legs, and bones reveal a common ancestry stretching back hundreds of millions of years. Evolution works like a giant tree. At the base is a single ancient branch. Over time, that branch splits again and again. Some branches grow larger. Some become smaller. Some develop completely new characteristics. Some eventually disappear. But every branch carries part of the original story. The dinosaur family tree was one of the most fascinating forests of evolution ever created. Among the smaller branches were dinosaurs that would eventually transform the future. Theropods were a group that included many famous predators. Some were powerful hunters with sharp teeth and strong jaws. Others were small, agile animals covered with feathers. Over millions of years, one branch of these feathered dinosaurs would lead to the first birds. This connection between dinosaurs and birds is one of the greatest discoveries in paleontology. For a long time, scientists debated whether birds were related to dinosaurs. Then fossils began revealing the truth. Small dinosaurs were discovered with feathers. Some had wishbones, hollow bones, and other features once thought unique to birds. The evidence became impossible to ignore. Birds were not simply descendants of dinosaurs. They were living dinosaurs. Every time a bird flies across the sky today, it carries a story that began in the prehistoric forests. The sparrow on a city sidewalk. The eagle soaring above mountains. The owl resting silently in the darkness. All of them are connected to ancient creatures that lived alongside giants. This is one of the most beautiful examples of evolution. A lineage that survived while countless others disappeared. As the Jurassic sun climbed higher, different dinosaurs followed different routines. Predators searched carefully for opportunities. Herbivores traveled toward fresh vegetation. Young dinosaurs explored under the protection of adults. Each species occupied its own place within the ecosystem. Large predators were important, but they were never the only force shaping the environment. Scavengers also played a crucial role. When an animal died, its body became part of a larger cycle. Small creatures arrived first. Insects, microorganisms, and other animals helped break down what remained. Nutrients returned to the soil. Plants absorbed those nutrients. New life grew. The cycle continued. Death in nature is not an ending. It is a transformation. The same atoms that once formed one creature can later become part of another. Across billions of years, Earth's materials have been continuously recycled. The carbon in a dinosaur's body may have once been part of ancient oceans. The minerals inside fossil bones may have traveled through countless geological processes before becoming part of that animal. Everything on Earth is connected through time. Another fascinating aspect of dinosaurs was their ability to survive across different climates. The planet was not always warm and identical everywhere. Some regions experienced seasonal changes. Some areas were much wetter. Others were much drier. Some dinosaurs even lived in regions that were close to the ancient poles. These polar environments were very different from today's frozen landscapes. During parts of the dinosaur era, polar regions had forests and supported diverse ecosystems. This means some dinosaurs lived through months of changing daylight. There were periods when the sun stayed above the horizon for long stretches, followed by times when darkness lasted much longer. Surviving in such places required special adaptations. Animals needed to handle changing temperatures and seasonal food availability. Some may have migrated. Others may have developed behaviors that helped them survive difficult months. The idea of dinosaurs living near ancient polar forests is one of the most surprising discoveries in modern paleontology. It reminds us that dinosaurs were not limited to warm tropical jungles. They were explorers of the planet. They adapted to many different environments. From deserts to forests. From coastlines to mountains. From warm valleys to polar regions. Their footprints reached almost every corner of the ancient world. The more scientists discover, the more impressive their story becomes. Each fossil expands our understanding. Each new species reveals another experiment in evolution. A tiny dinosaur feather can tell us about ancient climates. A tooth can reveal a diet. A footprint can reveal movement. A nest can reveal behavior. Every clue matters. As the afternoon approached, the Jurassic landscape continued its endless rhythm. A gentle breeze moved through the trees. Clouds slowly drifted across the sky. A herd of dinosaurs crossed a wide open plain, their silhouettes moving slowly against the horizon. Above them, pterosaurs floated effortlessly on warm currents of air. Below them, countless smaller creatures continued their hidden lives. It was a world of enormous animals and tiny organisms existing together. A world where every creature had a role. A world that lasted for millions of years. And although that world eventually changed forever, the evidence remained scattered across our planet, waiting patiently for curious minds to discover the next piece of the dinosaur story. As the Jurassic world continued its endless cycle of mornings and evenings, millions of years quietly passed beneath the changing sky. Entire generations of dinosaurs were born, lived their lives, and disappeared, leaving behind only small traces of their existence. Yet those traces would remain hidden within the earth, waiting patiently for a future species to uncover their stories. The dinosaurs were not aware of time the way humans understand it. They did not know they were living during a remarkable chapter of Earth's history. They did not know their descendants would one day inspire scientists and capture the imagination of people around the world. They simply lived according to the rhythms of nature. Finding food. Searching for water. Protecting their young. Following the changing seasons. One of the most remarkable parts of dinosaur history is how long their story continued. The Jurassic period eventually gave way to the Cretaceous period, a new chapter that began around 145 million years ago. The Earth looked different once again. Continents continued separating. New oceans formed. Mountain ranges slowly changed. The climate shifted. And the dinosaurs entered another era of incredible diversity. The Cretaceous world would become one of the most fascinating periods in Earth's history. Many of the most famous dinosaurs that people recognize today lived during this time. Tyrannosaurus rex, Triceratops, Velociraptor, Ankylosaurus. These names have become legendary, but their real stories are even more fascinating than the myths surrounding them. During the Cretaceous, one of the biggest transformations in Earth's plant life began. Flowering plants appeared and started spreading across the planet. For hundreds of millions of years, forests had been dominated by plants such as conifers, cycads, and ferns. Then a new group emerged. Small at first, almost unnoticed, but incredibly successful. These were flowering plants, also known as angiosperms. Their arrival changed ecosystems forever. Flowers brought new opportunities. They produced fruits and seeds that attracted many animals. They created new habitats. They changed the relationship between plants and insects. The world became more colorful and more complex. Imagine walking through a Cretaceous forest. At first, it might resemble an older prehistoric landscape filled with ferns and towering trees. But then you would notice something different. Small bursts of color among the greenery. New types of plants growing along riverbanks. Different insects visiting these unfamiliar structures. A new chapter of evolution had begun. Plants and animals began influencing each other in new ways. Some insects evolved alongside flowering plants. They developed specialized abilities to collect pollen and nectar. In return, plants benefited because insects helped spread pollen from one flower to another. This partnership transformed the natural world. Today, many of the foods humans depend upon exist because of these ancient evolutionary relationships. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, many crops. All are connected to the long history of flowering plants. The Cretaceous period was a time of incredible experimentation. Dinosaurs continued evolving while new environments appeared around them. Some herbivores developed powerful beaks for processing plants. Others grew impressive horns or protective armor. Predators developed sharper senses and more specialized hunting strategies. Every group followed its own evolutionary path. One of the most famous dinosaurs of this time was Triceratops. Its name means three-horned face, describing the three large horns that made it instantly recognizable. Two long horns extended above its eyes, while a smaller horn projected from its nose. Behind its head was a large bony frill. For many years, scientists debated the exact purpose of this impressive structure. It may have provided protection. It may have helped recognize members of the same species. It may have played a role in communication or displays between individuals. Like many dinosaur features, it may have served several purposes at once. Modern animals show similar examples. A peacock's tail attracts mates but also signals health. A deer's antlers help with competition but also display strength. An elephant's tusks are useful tools but also influence social behavior. Evolution often creates features that serve multiple roles. Triceratops lived during a world where enormous predators also existed. The most famous was Tyrannosaurus rex. Although often portrayed as a constant hunter, T-Rex was likely a more complex animal. It possessed one of the strongest bites of any known land animal. Its massive skull contained powerful jaws filled with large, thick teeth designed to crush and tear. But strength alone does not explain an animal's entire lifestyle. Modern predators rest. They conserve energy. They avoid unnecessary risks. T-Rex likely did the same. A serious injury could mean the difference between survival and starvation. Every hunt carried danger. A broken tooth. A damaged leg. A failed attack. Life in the prehistoric world required careful decisions. Even the greatest predators depended upon patience. Scientists continue learning about T-Rex through fossil discoveries. Some specimens preserve injuries that healed during life, showing these animals survived significant challenges. A healed bone tells a quiet story. An animal was injured. It endured pain. It survived long enough for its body to repair itself. That single piece of evidence transforms a fossil from a simple skeleton into a story of life. Every dinosaur fossil contains a moment from a world that no longer exists. A footprint represents a single step. A tooth represents a single meal. A nest represents a moment of care. A healed injury represents a struggle overcome. Together, these pieces create a picture of a planet filled with remarkable creatures. As the Cretaceous landscapes expanded, dinosaurs continued exploring new possibilities. Some became faster. Some became larger. Some developed extraordinary defenses. Others became smaller and more specialized. Evolution never stopped experimenting. The story of dinosaurs was never about one perfect creature. It was about millions of different lives, each following its own path through deep time. And as another peaceful evening settled over the Cretaceous world, the forests, rivers, and valleys continued their quiet rhythms. The dinosaurs had no idea that their age would one day become one of humanity's greatest mysteries. They simply walked beneath the ancient sky, surrounded by a planet that was constantly changing, endlessly beautiful, and full of stories waiting to be discovered. The Cretaceous world continued to transform as millions of years passed quietly beneath the ancient sun. The continents that once belonged together were now separated by widening oceans. Vast distances appeared between lands that had once been connected, creating isolated environments where different forms of life evolved in unique ways. A dinosaur living on one continent might have looked completely different from a dinosaur living thousands of kilometers away. Geography shaped evolution. Mountains created barriers. Oceans divided populations. Climate influenced which plants could grow and which animals could survive. Over enormous stretches of time, these differences created incredible variety. The Earth became a collection of different worlds, each with its own story. In the forests of what is now North America, enormous dinosaurs walked beneath ancient trees. In Asia, strange and fascinating species developed in environments that were sometimes very different. In South America, unique predators and herbivores followed their own evolutionary paths. In Antarctica, dinosaurs survived in regions that experienced long periods of darkness and changing seasons. The age of dinosaurs was not one single story. It was millions of different stories happening at the same time. One of the most interesting groups to appear during this era was the ankylosaurs. These dinosaurs looked almost like living fortresses. Their bodies were covered with thick armor made from bony plates called osteoderms. These protective structures formed a natural shield beneath their skin. Some ankylosaurs even possessed powerful tail clubs that could be swung with tremendous force. At first glance, they seemed almost impossible to defeat. Their defense was not speed. It was protection. While some dinosaurs escaped danger by running quickly, ankylosaurs survived by becoming extremely difficult to harm. Their low, wide bodies kept them close to the ground. Their armor protected vulnerable areas. Their strong tails provided an additional defense. They were a perfect example of evolution creating different solutions to the same problem. How do you survive in a world filled with predators? Some animals become faster. Some become larger. Some develop weapons. Some develop armor. Nature explores every possibility. Another fascinating group from the Cretaceous was the ceratopsians, the horned dinosaurs. Triceratops was one of the most famous, but it belonged to a much larger family. Different species developed different horn shapes and frill designs. These features may have helped individuals recognize members of their own species. Imagine a large herd moving across an open landscape. From a distance, the colorful patterns and shapes of their horns might have helped dinosaurs identify one another. Communication does not always require sound. Sometimes appearance itself becomes a message. Many modern animals use visual signals. Birds display feathers. Fish show patterns. Mammals use body posture. The prehistoric world likely contained similar displays that we can only partially understand today. The more scientists study dinosaurs, the more they discover that appearance was probably more important than previously believed. Some dinosaurs may have been surprisingly colorful. Their feathers, scales, and skin patterns could have helped them blend into their environments or communicate with others. The old image of dinosaurs as gray and dull creatures is slowly being replaced by a much richer picture. The Cretaceous world was likely filled with movement and color. Forests were alive with insects. Rivers reflected bright skies. Plants created endless shades of green. Dinosaurs moved through this landscape displaying patterns shaped by millions of years of evolution. Among the most fascinating discoveries from this period are fossilized feathers. For a long time, scientists knew birds came from dinosaurs, but the discovery of feathered dinosaur fossils provided incredible details. Some fossils preserve individual feathers so clearly that researchers can study their structure. They reveal that feathers existed for many reasons before flight evolved. Warmth, display, camouflage, communication. Flight was only one later use of this extraordinary adaptation. Evolution often works this way. A feature develops for one purpose and later becomes useful for something completely different. Feathers may have started as insulation. Millions of years later, they helped create the ability to fly. A simple change opened an entirely new chapter in the history of life. Small feathered dinosaurs also changed how scientists imagine predator behavior. Not every predator was a giant monster. Many were agile, intelligent, and specialized. Some possessed sharp claws designed for gripping. Others had lightweight bodies built for speed. Some may have hunted alone. Others may have cooperated in groups. The famous Velociraptor is often misunderstood because popular movies greatly increased its size. The real animal was much smaller than the version shown on screen. It was closer in size to a modern turkey. However, it was still a remarkable predator. Its body was designed for agility. Its curved claws helped it interact with prey. Its feathered covering connected it to the broader dinosaur bird family. The real Velociraptor was perhaps even more fascinating than the fictional version. Nature does not need exaggeration. Reality already creates incredible creatures. Every fossil discovery has the potential to change our understanding. A new species can reveal unexpected behaviors. A new bone can show a surprising adaptation. A microscopic detail can transform our entire view of ancient life. Technology has made these discoveries even more remarkable. Scientists now use advanced imaging techniques to study fossils without damaging them. Digital models allow researchers to examine ancient bones from different angles. Chemical analysis can reveal details about environments that disappeared millions of years ago. The past is becoming clearer through modern science. Yet even with all these discoveries, many mysteries remain. How exactly did certain dinosaurs communicate? How did they behave within their groups? What sounds filled their forests? What colors covered their bodies? What daily experiences shaped their lives? Some questions may never have complete answers, but the search itself is part of the wonder. Science is not only about finding conclusions. It is about exploring possibilities. It is about asking better questions. It is about remaining curious. As the Cretaceous evening arrived, the landscapes once again became peaceful. A herd of horned dinosaurs moved slowly across a valley. An armored ankylosaur searched for plants beneath the fading sunlight. Small feathered dinosaurs disappeared into the shadows of the forest. Above them, the sky slowly changed from bright blue to deep purple. The same stars began appearing overhead. The same universe that had watched the first dinosaurs evolve continued watching their descendants millions of years later. The dinosaurs did not know their era would eventually end. They did not know their bones would become fossils. They did not know their story would one day inspire generations of humans. They simply lived beneath the ancient sky. And for millions of years, their world continued. The Cretaceous period continued unfolding across the Earth, carrying the dinosaur story toward some of its most fascinating chapters. Everywhere the dinosaurs lived, they were surrounded by a world that was constantly changing. The continents continued their slow movement, oceans expanded and shifted, and climates gradually transformed. Yet life continued finding ways to adapt. This ability to adjust was one of the greatest strengths of dinosaurs. They were not successful because they were invincible. They were successful because they changed with the world around them. For more than 160 million years, countless generations survived challenges that would have ended many other groups of animals. They lived through volcanic activity. They experienced changing temperatures. They adapted to new plants and new environments. They evolved into forms that scientists are still discovering today. One of the most remarkable dinosaur groups of the Cretaceous was the Tyrannosaurs. At first glance, they looked almost impossible to understand. They possessed enormous claws that could grow longer than a human hand, yet many species were not fierce predators. Instead, they were likely plant eaters. Their bodies reveal one of evolution's most fascinating lessons. Appearance does not always tell the full story. A feature that looks dangerous may have a completely different purpose. Those enormous claws may have helped gather vegetation, defend against threats, or interact with their environment. Nature often creates unexpected combinations. A dinosaur could have the body of a creature that looked frightening while living a peaceful life. The same is true today. Pandas have powerful jaws but eat mostly plants. Gorillas possess incredible strength but are often gentle. Large animals are not always aggressive. The Cretaceous world was filled with similar surprises. Another fascinating dinosaur group was the Oviraptorosaurs. These smaller feathered dinosaurs lived in parts of Asia and had unusual skull shapes. For many years, scientists misunderstood some of their fossils. Early discoveries found skeletons near eggs, and researchers originally thought these dinosaurs were stealing eggs. Later evidence revealed a very different possibility. The dinosaurs may actually have been caring for their own nests. This discovery changed the way scientists viewed dinosaur behavior. Instead of being simple reptiles driven only by instinct, some dinosaurs showed signs of parental care. They may have protected eggs. They may have guarded nesting areas. They may have waited patiently beside their developing offspring. This behavior creates a connection between ancient dinosaurs and modern birds. A bird sitting on a nest today is continuing a behavior with roots stretching back millions of years. The relationship between parents and offspring is one of nature's oldest stories. Across the planet, countless species invest time and energy into raising the next generation. Whales guide their calves through oceans. Elephants protect young members of their families. Birds feed their chicks tirelessly. The Cretaceous forests may have witnessed similar moments every day. A parent carefully watching over a nest. A young dinosaur taking its first steps. A family group moving together through an ancient landscape. These scenes remind us that dinosaurs were not just skeletons in museums. They were living animals with daily experiences. They grew. They struggled. They adapted. They survived. One of the most important discoveries in recent decades has been the evidence of dinosaur intelligence. Studying intelligence in extinct animals is difficult because brains rarely fossilize. However, scientists can examine the inside of dinosaur skulls using advanced scanning technology. These scans reveal the shape and size of brain cavities. Some dinosaurs had relatively small brains compared with their enormous bodies. Others had more developed brains and sensory systems. Small theropods, especially those related to birds, appear to have possessed impressive neurological abilities. They may have been highly aware of their surroundings. They may have used complex behaviors. Some researchers believe certain dinosaurs were capable of problem-solving skills similar to those seen in modern birds. This is another reminder that intelligence does not appear suddenly. It evolves gradually over enormous periods of time. The clever behaviors of birds today are connected to abilities that began developing among their dinosaur ancestors. A crow solving a puzzle. A parrot learning sounds. A raven using tools. These remarkable behaviors have ancient roots. The dinosaur world was also a world of competition. Every species faced challenges. Food had to be found. Predators had to be avoided. Mates had to be attracted. Territories had to be protected. But competition did not mean constant conflict. Most animals spend far more time simply living than fighting. The peaceful moments were the most common. A dinosaur walking through a forest. A herd resting beside a river. Young animals exploring their surroundings. The quiet routines of survival. Nature documentaries often focus on dramatic moments because they capture attention. But real life is mostly made of ordinary days. The same was true millions of years ago. Most dinosaurs were not chasing prey or escaping danger every moment. They were simply existing. They followed patterns created by countless generations before them. As evening arrived across the Cretaceous landscape, the temperature slowly cooled. The shadows of trees stretched across the ground. Rivers reflected the colors of the setting sun. The sounds of the day gradually faded. A group of small feathered dinosaurs settled beneath the branches of ancient trees. Large herbivores gathered near safe resting areas. Predators became quieter as darkness approached. The prehistoric world prepared for another night. Above everything, the stars appeared once again. The same stars that had watched the first dinosaurs emerge continued shining above their descendants. The universe remained constant while life on Earth changed endlessly. Millions of years later, humans would discover these ancient stories hidden in stone. They would uncover bones, study footprints, analyze fossils, and slowly reconstruct a world that seemed almost impossible to imagine. Yet every discovery would reveal the same message. The Earth has always been full of wonder. Life has always found a way. And the story of the dinosaurs is one of the greatest reminders that even the most extraordinary chapters of history begin quietly, one small step at a time. As the Cretaceous world continued its long journey through time, the planet became a place of incredible diversity. The dinosaurs had spread across continents that were slowly drifting farther apart, creating isolated environments where evolution could take unexpected paths. Every region became its own natural experiment. A forest separated by mountains could develop different species from a forest on the other side. An island surrounded by ocean could create animals found nowhere else. A changing climate could encourage some creatures to grow larger while pushing others towards smaller forms. Evolution was always exploring. It was never finished. Among the many fascinating dinosaurs of the Cretaceous were the hadrosaurs, often known as duck-billed dinosaurs. These animals were some of the most successful herbivores of their time. They were found across many parts of the world and existed in numerous different species. Their success came from their remarkable ability to process plants. Their mouths contained complex dental systems with rows of teeth working together like natural grinding machines. As teeth became worn down from eating tough vegetation, new teeth continuously replaced them. This allowed hadrosaurs to spend much of their lives feeding. A large herd could move across landscapes, consuming plants while constantly searching for fresh areas to explore. Some hadrosaurs possessed unusual head structures that fascinated scientists. Parasaurolophus carried a long hollow crest extending backward from its skull. At first, scientists had many questions about this strange feature. Why would evolution create such an unusual structure? The answer may involve communication. Inside the crest were connected air passages that could have changed the sounds produced by the dinosaur. A Parasaurolophus may have been able to create deep, resonating calls that traveled through forests and valleys. These sounds could have helped members of a group locate one another across large distances. Imagine a quiet Cretaceous morning. Mist rests above a river. Trees stand motionless in the early sunlight. Then, from far away, a deep sound moves through the landscape. Another dinosaur responds. A conversation begins across an ancient world. Communication is one of life's greatest inventions. It allows animals to coordinate, warn others of danger, attract mates, and maintain relationships. Even today, animals communicate in countless ways. Birds sing. Whales create complex songs. Elephants use low-frequency sounds that travel through the ground. Wolves communicate through howls and body language. The dinosaur world likely had its own rich collection of signals. Some were probably sounds. Others may have involved movement, posture, colors, or displays. A raised tail. A lowered head. A change in body position. Small gestures can carry important meanings. One of the most exciting areas of dinosaur research involves understanding their senses. Scientists study fossil skulls to estimate how dinosaurs experience their surroundings. The size of eye openings can provide clues about vision. The structure of inner ears can reveal information about balance and hearing. The shape of nasal passages can suggest how well they detected smells. These details allow researchers to imagine what the world felt like to a dinosaur. A large predator may have scanned the landscape with sharp vision, searching for movement among distant vegetation. A herbivore may have constantly monitored its surroundings, using hearing and smell to detect approaching danger. A young dinosaur may have relied on familiar sounds from its family to remain close and safe. The prehistoric world was experienced through senses very different from our own. A dinosaur did not see a forest as we see it. It experienced a world of scents, vibrations, movements, and sounds. The smell of rain approaching. The vibration of heavy footsteps. The sound of distant calls. The movement of leaves revealing hidden creatures. Every moment was filled with information. Some dinosaurs also developed extraordinary defenses. The world was full of predators, and survival required creativity. Ankylosaurs used armor. Ceratopsians used horns. Some dinosaurs relied on speed. Others depended on group protection. Some developed camouflage. Blending into the environment is one of nature's oldest strategies. A dinosaur with patterns matching shadows and vegetation could avoid detection. Young animals especially benefited from remaining hidden. Survival often depended not on being the strongest, but on being unnoticed. Modern animals continue using the same strategy. A walking stick insect disappears among branches. A snowshoe hare blends into winter landscapes. A tiger's stripes break up its outline in tall grass. Ancient dinosaurs likely used similar methods. The Cretaceous landscape also contained enormous rivers and wetlands. These environments were among the most productive places on Earth. Water brought nutrients. Plants grew abundantly. Animals gathered around reliable sources of hydration. But wetlands were also places of danger. A calm riverbank could become a hunting ground. A shallow lake could hide unexpected threats. Life always balanced opportunity with risk. Every environment offered rewards and challenges. The ability to recognize those differences was essential for survival. Some dinosaurs became specialists. Others remained adaptable generalists. Both strategies could succeed. A species that relied on one specific food source could thrive when conditions were perfect. A species able to eat many different foods could survive when environments changed. Nature does not create only one path to success. There are countless ways to survive. As another evening arrived, the Cretaceous landscape slowly became peaceful. The enormous diversity of life continued beneath the fading sunlight. Herds moved toward resting areas. Small dinosaurs disappeared into protective vegetation. Predators became quieter as darkness covered the valleys. Above the ancient world, stars appeared once again. The same universe continued watching over Earth. The same cosmic forces that shaped the planet continued their slow work. The dinosaurs were only temporary visitors in the vast history of the universe. Yet during their time, they created one of the most extraordinary chapters ever written on Earth. And their story was still not finished. The final chapters of the dinosaur age were approaching, carrying changes that would forever transform life on this planet. The Cretaceous world continued moving toward its final chapters, but the Earth was still filled with incredible life. Millions of years remained before the great change that would reshape the planet, and dinosaurs continued thriving across forests, plains, mountains, and coastlines. Their world was not ending. To every creature living at that moment, the future appeared endless. A young dinosaur waking beneath the morning sun had no idea that its descendants would one day disappear. A herd crossing an ancient valley had no knowledge that the landscape beneath their feet would eventually become a completely different place. Life only experiences the present. The Earth itself carries the memory of the past. During the later Cretaceous period, some of the most famous dinosaurs appeared. Among them were the massive Tyrannosaurs. Tyrannosaurus rex became one of the most well-known animals in Earth's history, but its real life was even more fascinating than the legends. T. rex lived in what is now western North America near the end of the Cretaceous period. The landscape it knew was very different from the modern world. Instead of cities and highways, there were vast floodplains, forests, rivers, and coastal regions. The climate was warmer, and sea levels were higher. A great inland sea divided parts of the continent, creating environments filled with unique plants and animals. Along these ancient shores and rivers, T. rex walked among other remarkable creatures. It was not alone. The world was a complex ecosystem where every species influenced the others. Tyrannosaurus rex had an enormous skull designed for powerful bites. Its teeth were thick and strong, built not only for cutting but also for crushing. Some teeth were longer than a human hand. Its jaws could generate incredible force compared with many other known land animals. But a powerful bite was only one part of its story. The body of T. rex reveals an animal carefully adapted for survival. Its massive hind legs supported its weight. Its tail helped maintain balance. Its arms, although small compared with its body, were still muscular and functional. For many years, people wondered why such a powerful animal had such short arms. Scientists continue studying this question. The arms may have had several possible uses, from helping during close interactions to assisting with movement in certain situations. Evolution does not always create features that look obvious to human eyes. Sometimes structures remain because they serve subtle but important purposes. T-Rex also had a highly developed sense of smell. Its large nasal regions suggest it may have been excellent at detecting scents. A distant smell carried by the wind could provide valuable information. Food nearby. Another animal moving through the area. A potential threat. The prehistoric world was full of invisible signals. Smell was a powerful tool. Many people imagine T-Rex as constantly hunting, but large predators usually cannot afford to waste energy. A successful predator must be patient. Modern lions spend much of their time resting. Crocodiles remain still for long periods. Sharks conserve energy between opportunities. T-Rex likely followed similar patterns. Waiting. Observing. Choosing the right moment. Every movement had a cost. Every injury carried risk. Survival depended on making careful decisions. Not far away from these predators lived one of the most recognizable herbivores of all time. Triceratops. These horned dinosaurs moved through the landscape in search of vegetation. Their powerful beaks and specialized teeth allowed them to process tough plants. Their large frills and horns created one of the most impressive appearances in dinosaur history. But their horns were not simply weapons. They may have played important social roles. Individuals may have recognized each other through differences in horn shape, size, and display. They may have competed with one another. They may have used visual signals to communicate strength and health. Modern animals show similar behaviors. A male deer displays antlers. Birds show colorful feathers. Lizards perform visual displays. The body itself becomes a language. The late Cretaceous world was filled with these silent conversations. A dinosaur's appearance could tell others about age, strength, identity, and readiness. Another fascinating group living alongside these giants was the hadrosaurs. These duck-billed dinosaurs were among the most abundant herbivores of the time. They likely traveled in groups and may have formed large herds. Their success came from their ability to efficiently consume vegetation. A herd of hadrosaurs could transform a landscape as they moved through forests and floodplains. They shaped the environment around them. Plants grew. Animals followed. Predators watched. The entire ecosystem was connected. Every species influenced the others. This connection is one of the most important lessons from studying ancient life. No animal exists separately from its surroundings. The disappearance of one species can affect many others. The arrival of a new species can change an entire ecosystem. Life is a web of relationships stretching across time. As evening settled over the late Cretaceous landscape, the world remained peaceful. A group of Triceratops moved slowly through a valley. A Tyrannosaurus rested beneath the shade of trees. Small feathered dinosaurs searched among vegetation. Bird-like creatures moved through the branches. Insects continued their ancient routines. The planet was still full of life. Still full of possibilities. Still writing new chapters every day. The dinosaurs did not know they were approaching the end of an era. They simply continued living as they had for millions of years. And above them, the stars continued shining quietly, watching over a world that would eventually change forever. The late Cretaceous world continued beneath a sky that had witnessed countless generations of life. For millions of years, dinosaurs had adapted to changing environments, surviving challenges that would have ended many other groups. Their story had become one of the longest and most successful chapters in Earth's history. But even the greatest chapters eventually moved toward change. The planet was never still. Deep beneath the surface, continents continued drifting. Volcanoes continued shaping the land. Oceans continued rising and falling. The atmosphere continued changing. Life was always responding. During the final part of the Cretaceous period, Earth was filled with remarkable ecosystems. Forests covered large areas. Rivers crossed enormous floodplains. Coastlines provided homes for countless marine creatures. The air above the land was filled with flying animals. The ground below was filled with insects, plants, and tiny organisms that supported the entire ecosystem. It was a world of abundance. One of the most fascinating discoveries from this time involves the relationship between dinosaurs and their environments. Dinosaurs were not simply living on the landscape. They were shaping it. Large herbivores influenced plant growth through feeding. Their movement created pathways through vegetation. Their waste returned nutrients to the soil. Their migrations connected different areas of the ecosystem. In many ways, dinosaurs acted as natural forces within their environments. Modern elephants provide a useful comparison. By knocking down trees, spreading seeds, and creating pathways, elephants transform the landscapes around them. Large dinosaurs may have played similar roles. The disappearance of such enormous animals would later create changes throughout many ecosystems. Every species leaves a mark. Even after it disappears, its influence can continue. The late Cretaceous also saw the rise of some unusual dinosaurs with incredible adaptations. One group was the Pachycephalosaurs. These dinosaurs had extremely thick skull domes. For decades, scientists debated what these structures were used for. One possibility was head-to-head competition, similar to the way some modern animals use horns or antlers. Another possibility was display and recognition. The thick skull may have helped individuals identify members of their own species. The truth may involve several different functions. Nature often creates features that are more complicated than a single explanation. A structure can be useful in multiple ways. A horn can defend and communicate. A feather can provide warmth and display colors. A tail can balance movement and provide protection. Evolution rarely wastes opportunities. Another fascinating dinosaur from the late Cretaceous was Carnotaurus. This predator had a unique appearance. It possessed two small horns above its eyes and a remarkably short skull compared with many other large carnivores. Its body was built for speed and movement. The powerful legs suggest it may have been an active hunter. Its unusual design shows how different predator strategies could develop in isolated environments. Not every large predator needed to look like T-Rex. Different ecosystems created different solutions. On other continents, completely different dinosaur communities existed. South America had its own giant predators and herbivores. Asia contained diverse feathered dinosaurs. Australia preserved evidence of species adapted to southern environments. Madagascar developed unique forms of life because of its isolation. The separation of continents created evolutionary experiments across the planet. Each region became a story of adaptation. One of the most remarkable discoveries from the late Cretaceous comes from fossilized dinosaur nests. Some locations preserve entire nesting colonies. Hundreds of eggs have been found together, suggesting that certain dinosaurs returned to specific areas repeatedly. These discoveries provide clues about reproduction and behavior. A nesting ground was not just a place to lay eggs. It may have been a community location. A place where generations of dinosaurs began their lives. A place where adults invested energy into protecting the future. The idea of dinosaurs caring for their young completely changed the way scientists viewed them. They were no longer seen as simple ancient reptiles. They were animals with complex life histories. They had growth stages. They had behaviors. They had strategies for survival. The more we learn, the more familiar they become. Not because they were identical to modern animals, but because many fundamental parts of life are shared. The desire to survive. The need for protection. The connection between parents and offspring. The search for food and shelter. These experiences connect all living things. As the late Cretaceous continued, flowering plants became increasingly important. Forests changed. New habitats appeared. Insects evolved alongside these plants. Small animals adapted to new food sources. The planet became more similar to the world we recognize today. Many modern ecosystems began their early foundations during this time. The arrival of flowering plants transformed the relationship between plants and animals. Fruits provided new food opportunities. Seeds spread through animal movement. Insects developed specialized relationships with flowers. The natural world became increasingly interconnected. Everywhere, evolution continued creating new possibilities. Yet beneath all this activity, another process was slowly occurring. The solar system itself was moving toward an event that would eventually affect life on Earth. Far away in space, a large asteroid was traveling through the darkness. It had been moving silently for millions of years. No dinosaur could sense its approach. No creature watching the stars could imagine what was coming. The universe often works on timescales far beyond individual lives. A single event in space can influence the history of an entire planet. But before that moment arrived, the dinosaurs continued their ordinary routines. They walked through forests. They followed rivers. They cared for their young. They hunted. They rested. They lived beneath the same sun and stars that had watched their ancestors rise millions of years earlier. The final chapter was approaching. But the dinosaurs were still here. Still thriving. Still part of a living Earth. And for a little while longer, their world remained filled with wonder. The final days of the dinosaur age were still far away in the minds of the creatures living during the late Cretaceous. There was no warning in the morning sunlight. No strange feeling carried through the forests. No signal in the flowing rivers or quiet valleys that the planet was approaching one of the greatest turning points in its history. Life continued as it always had. The dinosaurs followed the rhythms that had guided them for millions of years. They searched for food. They moved through changing landscapes. They raised their young. They rested beneath ancient skies. For countless generations, their world had felt permanent. But Earth's history is filled with moments when everything changes. The planet has experienced many great transformations. Massive volcanic eruptions reshaped environments. Oceans rose and disappeared. Continents collided and separated. New forms of life appeared while others vanished forever. The story of Earth is not a straight line. It is a journey of beginnings, endings, and new beginnings. The dinosaurs themselves were survivors of previous challenges. Long before their reign, Earth experienced one of the largest extinction events ever known. Life recovered. New ecosystems formed. Dinosaurs appeared. They grew and diversified. Now, After more than 160 million years of success, another great change was approaching. But before that change arrived, the late Cretaceous world remained incredibly rich. The landscapes were filled with familiar yet unfamiliar scenes. Large herbivores moved across open plains. Predators watched from forest edges. Small feathered dinosaurs searched beneath vegetation. Birds, already true dinosaurs, flew through the skies. Insects moved among flowering plants. The Earth was not a world about to disappear. It was a world full of life. One of the most important lessons from fossils is that extinction is rarely obvious before it happens. A species can be successful for millions of years and still face sudden challenges. A stable environment can change. A new pressure can appear. An event beyond the control of living creatures can transform everything. The dinosaurs had survived countless changes before. But this time, the challenge would be unlike anything they had experienced. Deep in space, a massive asteroid was following its own path. It was not alive. It had no purpose. It was simply a piece of the solar system moving through the darkness. For millions of years, it traveled silently. The asteroid did not know about dinosaurs. It did not know about forests. It did not know about oceans or life. Yet when its path eventually crossed Earth, it would influence the history of every species on the planet. The collision that followed would become one of the most studied events in Earth's history. Scientists know about this event because of a thin layer of rock found around the world. Inside this layer is an unusual concentration of the element iridium. Iridium is rare on Earth's surface but more common in asteroids. This discovery provided important evidence that something from space had played a major role in the extinction. The impact created a crater over many kilometers wide. The energy released was beyond human imagination. The effects spread across the entire planet. But extinction was not caused by one single moment alone. The impact triggered a chain of changes. Dust and particles entered the atmosphere. Sunlight was reduced. Temperatures shifted. Plants struggled. Food chains began collapsing. When plants suffered, herbivores suffered. When herbivores disappeared, predators suffered. The entire web of life was affected. This shows how connected ecosystems truly are. A change at one level can influence everything above and below it. The disappearance of plants can affect insects. The disappearance of insects can affect birds and small animals. The loss of herbivores can affect predators. Life is a network. Every species is part of something larger. The extinction event was devastating. Many groups disappeared forever. Large non-avian dinosaurs were among them. The giant creatures that had walked Earth for more than 160 million years were gone. But the story did not end there. Life found a way forward. Some creatures survived. Among them were small mammals, reptiles, insects, plants, and birds. The birds carried the dinosaur legacy into the future. While their larger relatives vanished, these surviving dinosaurs continued evolving. Today, every bird is a reminder of that ancient survival. A pigeon walking through a city. A hawk flying above mountains. A penguin moving across Antarctic ice. All are living representatives of the dinosaur family. The extinction of dinosaurs was not simply an ending. It was also a beginning. With the disappearance of many dominant animals, new opportunities appeared. Mammals began expanding into environments once controlled by dinosaurs. Over millions of years, they evolved into countless new forms. Eventually, one branch of mammals would produce humans. The creatures that would one day discover dinosaur fossils and ask questions about the ancient world. It is a beautiful connection across time. The dinosaurs lived millions of years before us. Yet without their existence, the world that produced humans might have looked completely different. Their story influenced our own. As the final Cretaceous sunsets faded across ancient landscapes, the last generations of non-avian dinosaurs lived their ordinary lives. They did not know they were part of a final chapter. They did not know future beings would study their remains. They did not know their existence would inspire wonder for centuries. They simply lived. And perhaps that is what makes their story so powerful. The dinosaurs were not legends while they were alive. They were real animals experiencing real moments beneath the sun. They felt the warmth of their environment. They followed rivers. They searched for food. They protected their young. They existed in a world that felt endless. Only later would their story become one of the greatest mysteries ever uncovered. A story written in stone. A story carried across millions of years. A story that continues every time someone looks at a fossil and wonders about the incredible creatures that once walked beneath the same sky. The world after the dinosaurs was a world of transformation. The forests remained. The rivers continued flowing. The oceans continued moving with the tides. The sun continued rising and setting. But the voices that once filled the landscapes had changed. The footsteps that once shook the ground became memories preserved beneath layers of rock. The age of giant non-avian dinosaurs had ended, but the story of life continued. Earth has always been a planet of change. One chapter closes, and another begins. The extinction event created a world full of new possibilities. For millions of years, many environments had been shaped by enormous dinosaurs. Their presence influenced ecosystems across the planet. When they disappeared, empty spaces appeared. Nature does not leave empty spaces for long. New species began exploring opportunities that had not existed before. Among the survivors were mammals. For much of the dinosaur era, mammals had lived quietly in the shadows. They were generally small. Many were active at night. They avoided competition with the dominant reptiles around them. But after the extinction, the world changed dramatically. Without large dinosaurs controlling many environments, mammals began expanding. They evolved into new forms. Some became larger. Some returned to daytime activity. Some adapted to forests. Others explored grasslands. Over millions of years, mammals diversified into an incredible variety of creatures. Whales returned to the oceans. Bats mastered the skies. Elephants developed enormous bodies. Primates evolved complex social behaviors. And eventually, one small branch would lead to humans. The same planet that once supported giant dinosaurs would later support a species capable of uncovering their ancient history. There is something remarkable about this connection. The dinosaurs and humans never met. They lived separated by more than 60 million years. Yet their stories are connected through the long process of evolution. The atoms inside our bodies were once part of the same earth where dinosaurs walked. The oxygen we breathe comes from ancient biological processes that existed long before humanity. The planet itself carries memories older than any living creature. Fossils are one way those memories are preserved. A fossil is not simply a dead object. It is a record of a moment in time. A footprint shows movement. A tooth reveals diet. A bone reveals growth. A nest reveals reproduction. Together, fossils allow scientists to rebuild vanished worlds. The process of discovering dinosaurs began relatively recently compared with the enormous age of these creatures. For thousands of years, humans found strange giant bones buried in the ground but did not understand what they were. Ancient people sometimes created myths to explain them. Some believed they belonged to giants. Others imagined they came from legendary creatures. Without modern science, the true story remained hidden. Then, during the 19th century, scientists began carefully studying these fossils. The field of paleontology developed. Researchers realized these bones belonged to animals unlike anything alive today. A new understanding of Earth's history began. The discovery of dinosaurs changed how humans viewed the planet. Before these discoveries, many people imagined Earth as having a much shorter history. Fossils revealed a much deeper story. A planet billions of years old. A history filled with countless forms of life. A world constantly changing over enormous periods of time. Dinosaurs became symbols of this ancient history. They showed humanity that life had existed in forms far beyond imagination. As research continued, new discoveries transformed dinosaur science. The image of dinosaurs changed dramatically. Early illustrations often showed them as slow, heavy, reptile-like creatures. Modern discoveries reveal something far more complex. Many were active. Many were colorful. Many had feathers. Many cared for their young. Many were closely connected to birds. The dinosaurs of science are far more fascinating than the dinosaurs of old imagination. Every fossil discovery adds another detail. Every new technology reveals hidden information. Advanced scanning allows researchers to examine fossils without damaging them. Chemical analysis reveals ancient environments. Microscopic structures reveal feather colors. Computer models help reconstruct movement. The past becomes clearer through careful investigation. Yet mysteries remain. There are still dinosaurs waiting to be discovered. New fossils continue emerging from deserts, mountains, and ancient rock formations around the world. Some discoveries reveal species unlike anything previously known. Others challenge ideas scientists thought were settled. The dinosaur story is still being written. Perhaps this is what makes these creatures so captivating. They remind us that there is always more to learn. The Earth is full of hidden stories. Beneath our feet are chapters waiting to be opened. A simple piece of stone may contain evidence of a world that existed millions of years before humans appeared. A small fossil can connect us to an unimaginable stretch of time. When we study dinosaurs, we are not only learning about ancient animals. We are learning about ourselves. We are learning where we came from. We are learning how life changes. We are learning how temporary and precious every species is. The dinosaurs teach us that even the most successful creatures are part of a larger story. No species lasts forever. But every species leaves something behind. The dinosaurs left fossils. They left birds. They left questions. They left inspiration. They changed how humanity understands life on Earth. And tonight, as we imagine those ancient forests and quiet valleys, we can remember that the world has always been filled with extraordinary stories. Long before humans looked at the stars, dinosaurs looked toward the same sky. Long before humans walked across continents, dinosaurs traveled across ancient landscapes. Long before we wondered about the past was already creating the story we would one day discover. The age of dinosaurs may have ended millions of years ago. But their story continues. It continues in museums. It continues in scientific discoveries. It continues in the birds flying above us. And it continues in our imagination every time we close our eyes and travel back through deep time. The journey through the age of dinosaurs has taken us across hundreds of millions of years. We have walked beneath ancient forests. We have followed rivers that disappeared before humans existed. We have imagined the footsteps of giants moving across landscapes that are now hidden beneath modern cities, mountains, and oceans. But the story of dinosaurs is not only about enormous creatures. It is about the incredible process of life itself. Every dinosaur was part of a much larger journey. A journey that began with simple forms of life billions of years ago and continues today with every living creature on Earth. The dinosaurs were one chapter in a story that has never stopped. They appeared in a world very different from ours. The continents were arranged differently. The atmosphere was different. The plants were different. The sounds of nature were different. Yet many parts of their lives feel familiar. They searched for food. They avoided danger. They cared for their young. They adapted to change. They experienced the ordinary moments of existence beneath the extraordinary skies of the prehistoric Earth. This is perhaps the most beautiful lesson dinosaurs teach us. Even the largest creatures that ever walked the planet lived one day at a time. A giant sauropod did not know it would become one of the largest animals in history. A small feathered dinosaur did not know its descendants would become the birds around us today. A young dinosaur exploring its surroundings simply experienced the world as it was. Life is always lived in the present. Millions of years later, humans discovered their hidden stories. A fossil buried deep underground became a connection between two completely different worlds. A bone became a message from the past. A footprint became a frozen moment of movement. A tiny feather became evidence of a relationship between dinosaurs and modern birds. The Earth preserves memories in remarkable ways. Rocks become libraries. Fossils become pages. Scientists become readers trying to understand a story written across immense amounts of time. And every discovery reminds us that our planet is far older, stranger, and more beautiful than we often realize. When we look at dinosaurs, we are not only looking backward. We are also looking at the future. Their history shows that life changes. Environments change. Species change. The planet itself changes. Nothing remains exactly the same forever. Yet change does not mean the end of life. It creates new possibilities. After the disappearance of the great dinosaurs, new creatures rose. Mammals expanded. Birds continued. New ecosystems developed. The Earth created another chapter. And it continues creating chapters today. The forests, oceans, deserts, and mountains around us are still part of this ongoing story. Every animal alive today carries a history that reaches far into the past. Every plant, every insect, every bird, and every human exists because countless generations before them survived. Life is a chain connecting the distant past with the present moment. And somewhere within that chain are the dinosaurs. Not as monsters. Not as forgotten creatures. But as one of the greatest examples of nature's creativity. A reminder that evolution can create beauty beyond imagination. A reminder that the universe is capable of producing wonders we are still discovering. As the night becomes quiet and the stars shine above, imagine the ancient Earth one final time. A warm breeze moves through prehistoric forests. A river slowly flows beneath a sky filled with stars. A distant herd of dinosaurs moves peacefully across a valley. The world is calm. The world is alive. And for a moment, millions of years disappear. We are connected to that ancient planet through curiosity, science, and imagination. The dinosaurs are gone, but their story remains. And perhaps that is the most wonderful thing of all. Some stories do not disappear with time. Some stories become timeless. As we slowly reach the end of this journey through the age of dinosaurs, it is worth remembering how extraordinary their existence truly was. For more than 160 million years, dinosaurs walked across the Earth. They survived changing climates. They adapted to shifting continents. They evolved into countless different forms. They became giants and small creatures, hunters and plant eaters, armored defenders and feathered explorers. Their diversity was almost beyond imagination. The dinosaur world was never just one place. It was an entire planet filled with different landscapes and countless stories. There were forests where enormous herbivores searched for plants. There were rivers where animals gathered for water. There were mountains where unique species evolved in isolation. There were coastlines where ancient creatures lived alongside changing seas. Every environment created new challenges. Every challenge created new adaptations. This is the endless creativity of nature. The dinosaurs also remind us about the importance of curiosity. For centuries, their bones rested silently beneath the ground. No one knew what stories they contained. Then humans began asking questions. What were these creatures? How did they live? Why did they disappear? Each question opened the door to another discovery. Science transformed mysterious bones into living stories. It revealed that dinosaurs were not simple creatures from fantasy. They were real animals with complex lives. They had behaviors. They had environments. They had relationships. They had histories. The more we learn about them, the more fascinating they become. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not that dinosaurs disappeared. Perhaps the greatest mystery is that they existed at all. A planet created enormous creatures that could walk beneath ancient skies. A planet created feathers that eventually led to flight. A planet created life capable of studying its own history. Earth is a remarkable place. It is a small world traveling through a vast universe, carrying billions of years of stories. The dinosaurs were one of those stories. A chapter written long before humans appeared. A chapter that still influences the way we understand ourselves and our planet. When we watch birds flying above us, we are witnessing a connection to that ancient world. When we discover fossils in rocks, we are touching a moment from deep time. When we study evolution, we are learning about the incredible journey of life itself. The dinosaur story is not only about the past. It is about connection. It connects ancient forests with modern cities. It connects vanished creatures with living animals. It connects millions of years of history with this single moment we experience today. So tonight, as your mind becomes calm and the world becomes quiet, remember the peaceful image of the prehistoric Earth. The forests beneath the stars. The rivers flowing through ancient valleys. The gentle movements of creatures that once ruled the planet. A world that existed long before us. A world that helped create the world we know today. The dinosaurs may have disappeared from the Earth, but they never truly left our imagination. Their fossils continue speaking. Their history continues teaching. Their story continues inspiring. And somewhere, in the quiet layers of rock beneath our feet, the ancient Earth is still waiting to reveal another secret. Now, as this journey finally comes to an end, we return to the peaceful silence of the ancient world. Imagine the Earth millions of years ago. No cities. No machines. No artificial lights covering the night sky. Only nature. Only the sound of wind moving through forests. Only rivers flowing across untouched landscapes. Only the quiet rhythm of life continuing beneath the stars. The dinosaurs were part of that rhythm. They were born into a world they did not create. They lived according to the laws of nature. They followed the seasons. They adapted. They survived. And eventually, their time came to an end. But endings are not always complete endings. The dinosaurs left behind evidence that allowed future generations to discover them. They left behind fossils hidden within the earth. They left behind birds flying through modern skies. They left behind questions that continue pushing science forward. Their existence reminds us that every creature, no matter how small or large, becomes part of Earth's story. A tiny insect. A growing tree. A bird crossing the sky. A human looking back through time. Everything is connected. Everything has a place in the endless history of life. The dinosaurs teach us patience. Their story unfolded over millions of years. Evolution does not rush. Nature works slowly, creating incredible changes through countless generations. A small adaptation can eventually transform the future. A tiny feather can become the foundation of flight. A simple change can create something extraordinary. The same planet that created dinosaurs continues creating wonders today. There are still unknown species hidden in oceans. There are still mysteries beneath forests and mountains. There are still discoveries waiting for curious minds. The story of Earth is far from finished. And perhaps one day, another discovery will reveal something that changes how we see the ancient world once again. Until then, the dinosaurs remain one of humanity's greatest reminders of wonder. They remind us to look deeper, to ask questions, to explore, to appreciate the incredible planet we call home. Southwest, as we close our eyes and let this peaceful journey fade into the quiet of the night, imagine the ancient Earth one final time. A sky filled with stars. A gentle breeze crossing a prehistoric valley. The distant sounds of life echoing through forests that vanished long ago. A world that existed. A world that changed. A world that became part of our own story. Thank you for joining this journey through the age of dinosaurs. Rest peacefully. Let your imagination travel through deep time. And remember that beneath every rock, every forest, and every ocean, the Earth is carrying stories that are millions of years old. Good night. And may your dreams be filled with the endless wonders of science, nature, and the universe.